Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the lowdown on TSWS Gaming. I'm Loke7. He's Ham Solo. Ham, how you doing?
Man, I am all right. I've been listening to this FTC, Activision Blizzard hearing, and I tell you, it's been pretty nuts. It's been ridiculously nuts. It's not going good for FTC right now.
For anyone that's been watching us for a while, you will notice Ham is going to be muting and unmuting himself several times instead of just being on the whole time. It's because this man
Whatever.
literally cannot bring himself to turn off the FTC hearing. That's what's happening right now.
Shut up.
Welcome, Raichi. Welcome, Raichi. He says Loke has to fight on defense of PlayStation. They were destroying Sony last episode during your absence. The FTC is also destroying Sony, so it's just destruction everywhere.
It's Destruction All Stars, right?
Government. Oh god, it's government sanctioned destruction. It's freaking YouTube sanctioned it's a calamity everywhere. Raichi says great on this fine day, just passing by to enjoy your content. Absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for coming through, Raichi.
We do it for
Ham,
viewers like
which
you, Raichi.
literally, it was not even like capping or anything. For real, we literally do it for Raichi. Hamathy, we're kind of getting into it. Would you like to skip the topics so we can go to the FTC, or can we do it in the chronological order that I set it up?
Let's let that cook for a little bit because the case is still going on, and if something is
All right,
big
then.
and bold, I want that to have precedent. I don't want to just start off talking about it and just kind of end up
Thank you.
and just kind of end up at a wall. So let's go on ahead and talk about our news first, and then I feel like
thank you for Ham.
Yes.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Then you feel like?
Yeah. I just want you to feel like you're not sitting at a weird transition, and then we bring it back up, and then it's over, and then we bring it back up, and it's over. Like, let's just go on ahead and talk about the news first, and then we'll have that as the last topic, so we can literally just rattle off everything that we're thinking, what's kind of going on. I can even read some of Florian Mueller's stuff, so you guys can hear about what's going on from his mouth and whatnot. So please, let's push that towards the end.
Let's do the news. I feel like I'm at the dentist. I just want to get it over with so we can stop talking about the FTC and PlayStation taking the L. That's all I'm saying.
I think Loke is really getting tired of his wardrobe being in question because he's he has nothing but blue on every episode.
This happened. I swear it's a coincidence. I promise. God, I need to find different colored suits. Stanley Francois, what's happening? PlayStation looking like Miami Heat going against the Nuggets. LOL.
Oh man, Jim Ryan out here looking like Jimmy Butler right now. He's locked down. He's locked down.
You know what? At least Jimmy Butler showed up. Jim Ryan was like, "Y'all have this video. I'm out." So no. Even saying that he's Jimmy Butler is it's not that bad. Sir X-Man, hello, blah blah blah.
Another Jim, right? Just another Jim. Just another Jim.
Oh Lord. Oh man. Okay. You know what? Let's do the one of the two sports stories real quick. Ham Solo. Brittany Griner.
Oh my God.
Recently returned to court yesterday, to the basketball court. Special guest Kamala Harris, the vice president of the U.S., I think.
Oh, great.
Over 10,000 fans showed up for a team who only averaged 5,600. Also, their stadium is about 20,000. So, yeah,
congratulations.
That's something. Again, while anyone in the WNBA should be thrilled that a single game doubled their usual attendance, Phoenix Mercury coach Vanessa Nygaard.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting way to pronounce that last name, Luke.
Nygaard. Whatever, dude. It's okay, fine, Nygaard. head coach she found it problematic, and it is basically miffed that people didn't show up. It should have been sold out as far as she's concerned. Ham Solo, do you agree with Vanessa? I'm not gonna say a second name. Do you agree with Vanessa's point that the whole country should be celebrating the fact that a grown adult was caught trafficking drugs to another country, and then the same country gave up an international terrorist known as the butcher of whatever to get that grown adult back to their home country? Should the US be celebrating? And is it a sad
No,
day the
that's
fact that
weird.
people didn't show up for grown?
It had everything working against it. So I mean, love it or hate it, WNBA isn't that popular. I mean, it's popular in the sense of basketball for women, but it's not popular in the sense of basketball. Okay, so like there's already going to be a low turnout because of that. So I mean,
God
blame
damn.
whoever you want to
Be
blame.
careful.
As for a person like whatever, Kamala Harris coming out, like that drew fans. That's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
Drawing some fans or
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
Why you got to be greedy about it though? You got double the capacity that you usually get. You got double the capacity that you usually get. I understand, like thinking, it's going to be bigger numbers. You know what? I mean, I have that same feeling sometimes when I invite like Dirk Griggity out here, or I invite King David. I look at the turnout and I'm like, oh, that's not bad, but I thought it was going to be a little bit better, or something like that. But you don't see me on Twitter saying this show was underperformed. Bullshit. You guys need to recognize
didn't show
real
up.
when I bring it to you. Like, come on now. Like, quit whining. Get over it.
Mm,
Like, it is what it is. People much more people showed up than usual. Celebrate
yes.
that. You got somebody back into the country that was messing around in another country doing stuff that they wasn't supposed to do. Am I saying we should just vilify and be rude and be like disappointed with Britney in all these cases? No, I'm not saying that, because I mean, obviously she did her time. It was awkward. It was frustrating. It was very embarrassing, I'm sure, for her. So I think she did what she had to do. The whole trade-off was weird. I'm not going to get into that.
Mm,
But yeah, I mean, be happy with what you got. You got double the amount of your crowd out there watching you and whatnot. Do your thing. Capitalize on that instead of complaining about it. Make it seem like, wow, like, man, you guys missed out. That was dope. Like, come on out and we'll be doing more fun stuff like that and inviting more dope guests. But no, complain, complain, complain. So now people look at that complaint and say, I don't want to go to that. I mean, it'd
like,
be the same
dude,
thing. It'd be the same thing if I went on
yeah,
to Twitter and complained
trying
about,
to have fun, dude.
I just had Hip Hop Gamer on the show and, it did all right in numbers and whatnot. But you know what, man? Like, there should have been 50 or 150
Thousands
people
of
watching, or
y'all.
thousands of people watching and stuff like that. And I feel like you guys don't know what's like I'm not going to start being rude to possible supporters, to possible future supporters, to try to gain support. That's so ass backwards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I just found it very curious, a president. I mean, if you commit a crime, you're a criminal. Are you with me, Ham?
Oh yeah,
If you commit a crime, you're a criminal. Yes or no?
absolutely. I can tell you right now, if I went to the UK, or if I went to Germany for the game, what's that game showcase out there called in Germany? Dang.
In Germany.
Yeah, there's a game showcase out in Germany. Gamescom, I think. It's Gamescom.
Okay. Let's say you were
If I
going to
went out to
Gamescom.
Gamescom and I was meeting up with like Gaz and Jazz and all those guys and whatnot, and I happened to bring a sack of weed with me, and I got detained, and I got shipped
Kamala
back
Harris
to
not
the
coming to get you.
I got shipped back to the United States, I would not expect Gene Park to hop on and say, "This is a celebration of Ham Solo today."
Dude, forget Gene Park. The vice president of your country. My point was to say I've never seen a government dignitary, never mind president or vice, celebrate a criminal. And I'm not even talking about like someone that went to protest something. I'm not talking about a crime that is ambiguous or political. Okay, because like if someone goes to Russia, for example, they're not very friendly with the LGBTQ community. If if an American goes to Russia and then they start displaying the flag and whatever, that's kind of an ambiguous crime because there it's a crime, here it's not a crime, etc. But drug trafficking is a crime, right? Moving drugs into a place where they're not allowed is a crime. So for me, it was very curious to see. I watched the video. I was like, that's Kamala Harris. That's the real vice president. And we're here celebrating a criminal by the technical term of it. We're here hugging, taking pictures. You're such a hero for being a criminal. That's all I wanted to say. That it really got me. In the comments, seriously, Big Medmo says, "Atloc, Sony sucks. Oh, you're done." Jeez, man. People are really embracing this whole thing that I am like partisan to Sony. People take it very seriously. All right, Amity, last sports story, and we can quickly move on. Chris Paul
Goodness.
to the Golden State Warriors. Is this
Wait,
going to
what?
move the needle?
That's real? That happened?
It's real. Yes.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Jordan Poole
interesting.
went the other way.
I think that will be that's probably a good thing. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Soccer.
Yeah, right. You don't want Draymond Green to go knock a brother out again. So
Man. But
um
then I saw a video, there was audio of Draymond a couple of years on another podcast 2 years ago talking about he hates Chris Paul's guts. So
yeah, those guys are
I don't know,
clapping
man.
though for views.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's how I look at it. I don't
Uh-huh.
think anybody really hates each other unless you actually seen the interactions with them, or you actually see them talking on Twitter or Facebook or whatnot. Like all the other stuff is like a competitive hate, in my opinion, until they end up on the same team. Now a legitimate hate from what it looks like right now, and I hate to get off subject and make this any longer, but it's Kevin Durant and DeAndre Ayton. That ain't looking good right now.
Oh yeah. But those are like unconfirmed reports, right? Or is that for real?
So I don't know how legit that is. So I mean,
Yeah, Ryan
it's just what
Windhorst.
I hear.
Yeah, Ryan Windhorst put out something on ESPN talking about they have like a real personal situation
I don't doubt it
between the two of
because
them.
Durant, as much as I like him, he sours people, and I don't doubt it. He kind
Oh
of
God.
swings his greatness everywhere, and everybody's just like, "Calm down, like you haven't done anything
Swings.
for us."
Swings.
Say
Oh
whatever
my
you want to say, look.
sir.
I'm just saying,
Sir.
like nobody really buys his whole greatness thing. So when he just
He's
goes
not.
around and
I
tells
don't buy it.
everybody how great he is, everybody's just like, dude, shut up.
He's alright. I mean, he can shoot the ball, but Boston exposed him. They showed everyone that KD's alright. He's just okay. Sergeant Sentinel, welcome in, Sarge. Says, good afternoon. How are you two gentlemen? I'm doing good. Who was trolling me up here? Okay, Back from the Dead says, gotta get that join button going for new dress shirts and ties. Okay. Apparently that's why I'm always wearing blue, Ham, because I oh god. Anyway, Rachie says we live in a weird world where jealous people are happy, celebrating, and make fun of people dying in a submarine. I don't know what is socially acceptable. Lord,
It's
that
true.
went
It's
left.
weird. You hear, I
Damn.
mean, people are joking about that, You got vice presidents coming to, I mean, love it or hate this, record it if you want. I don't care. You got a vice president going to congratulate somebody coming back that did something that they didn't need to do while out of town.
Mm.
Um, I mean, you got a lot of weird stuff happening in the world. One thing I don't even really want to get into, but I'm just going to mention real quick is like, no, actually, you know what? I'm not going to mention that. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's
We're
just too
almost through it.
nuts,
All right,
man. It's just too nuts. Like, I want to get to the
it's
game.
wild. All right, let's get to the games. Let's get to the games. This is the lowdown. Like, subscribe, etc., etc. We appreciate you. First, YouTube testing new online gaming service after Google Stadia shutdown. So this is from Game Rant. YouTube has reportedly started experimenting with a new online gaming service called Playables. It is unclear whether Playables is the first attempt at such repurposing, although the platform does appear to have some overlap with Stadia's promise of highly accessible cloud gaming. YouTube recently started testing the service internally. The Wall Street Journal reports citing an email sent to Google employees inviting them to join Playables. The solution reportedly allows users to instantly play and share a variety of games on desktops, smartphones, and tablets through the YouTube app. Both Android and iOS devices are said to be supported in the ongoing internal test. The size of Playable's experimental game library is unclear, with the newly emerged report mentioning but a single title, Stack Bounce, which tasks players with destroying brick sheets with a bouncing ball. An Android exclusive of the same name is currently available on Google Play, with its store listing describing a similar premise. Assuming the two are one and the same, this particular detail suggests Playables could offer a way for Android developers to make their games available on iOS devices and desktops without committing to actual ports. In a statement provided to the Wall Street Journal, a company spokesman labeled gaming as one of YouTube's long term focus points that warrants constant experimentation but declined to comment on Playables. First off, Hamathi, are you interested in Playables?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know yet.
Okay, so essentially, this report does not pique your interest. It doesn't sway you.
No, not in any particular way. It's just an announcement.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
no like
It's not even an
visible
announcement.
or what's that?
It's not even an announcement. It's just a report that leaked because YouTube
Exactly. So it's just like
sent this to their employees internally, and then one of them obviously sent it to someone they shouldn't have, and that's how we got a hold of this. But I'm just saying the premise of having Google like Google Stadia type functions, but on your PC, laptop with all the Google apps and games. That doesn't interest you.
I mean, I think it's smart and it's the way that they should have rolled it out in the first place. Right? They like the way
Oh,
they rolled
man.
it out was kind of like a bastard child, or like
Mm.
it was weird how like disassociated it was from the rest of the Google services. So if they're talking about re-innovating Stadia and making it more tasteful and more visible, that's something that's interesting. Something I'm not interested in myself because I already have something that has cloud services on it and
Mm.
whatnot. So I don't really need it. And plus, I don't really use the cloud services for Xbox anyways, unless I'm playing something like Persona or something that's like turn based almost to the point where I don't really need to rely on
Yes.
like,
Yes.
you know,
Like the
second
frames
to second
matter.
combat. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All
Or
right, so
frames. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, so not particularly interested in playables. But what about this final statement where they said that gaming is one of YouTube's long-term focus points that warrants constant experimentation. You know how a lot of people kind of panic, but not in a positive way, when when we heard that Amazon was seriously looking into getting into gaming. You think Google would be an how can I put this? How would you feel about Google doing a Microsoft and being like, okay, let's pivot. We're gonna start getting into this like seriously, investing billions, maybe buying up Nintendo or buying up PlayStation, etc. How would you feel
In the
about that?
business sense, that'd be super duper smart. Like, do I care? No, not really. If I'm okay with Microsoft taking up Activision Blizzard, what would I look like saying, don't do this, Google. Don't do that.
Mm, mm,
Like, do whatever you can, but just remember that the fans are used to a certain amount, that they don't want to do too much change. If there's any change, especially with a legacy title, we want maybe previous things to be brought upon before you add upon new things that we're uncertain about. Because us as like Madden fans or FIFA fans or Call of Duty fans, or really any fan of these large games. I mean, Overwatch even as well. We see certain innovations that are in it, and we're like, that's fine, but what happened to this, that, and a third? Why is this gone? And stuff like
mm.
that. So if Google's looking to purchase some sort of company, they have to be very careful on how they tread, because it's different. If like, let's say Activision Blizzard with Call of Duty made a change prior to Xbox compared to Xbox making the change for Activision Blizzard, it gets looked at in
Yeah,
two totally different ways. So you gotta
yeah.
give
After the
somebody
fact.
something. You gotta give something You gotta give something that the people have been looking forward to, if you're planning on implementing things that you're looking forward to. I mean, it's very much like conducting this show. We can talk about what we want to talk about, but the main thing is getting what the people want to hear out before we even get into
Yeah,
our personal stuff. Or else we're just, you know, patting ourselves on the back and expecting everybody else to do it for us as well. And
yeah.
I I
Which is
completely
why
get
we
that.
have to eventually get to the FTC. Anyways,
And I see
for
Rachie said
me,
Luna's better in the chat
yeah,
compared to
I'm curious.
xCloud and Google. I never tried. I mean, I hear the exact same thing about Luna. It's just about consistency and everything, and just how it
Mm.
works. I hear that it's better. I don't doubt that at all, because xCloud is still very hit or miss.
Oh, okay.
It's not good enough to
All right.
rely on. I'll give you that.
Okay, so my main concern with this possible future that I'm positing here is that I don't like the idea of cloud gaming, especially for me. Like it just doesn't fit into my reality, you know? I know people like Cozy, sometimes they main cloud gaming, you know? That's where they game most of the time. For me, the idea of Google maybe taking over and then making PlayStation 100 or at least like 60% or 70% online all the time type of situation, that sounds scary to me because I can't keep up with that. It's too much.
Right.
My
And
internet can't keep up with it.
that's another reason as to why this whole case is kind of a bust as it is, because it's just like,
Mm.
if it's not reliable everywhere, then it's reliable nowhere, kind of, in my
Yes.
in
Yes.
my opinion. So like, I'm
Which
in the
is
United
fine.
States. Shout out to Too Big with the super sticker for 9.99. Oh, that's what's
Hey,
up,
too
dude. I
big.
really appreciate that, man.
Welcome in,
Love
bro.
it. Absolutely love it. Thank you, brother. Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So, oh man, I forgot what I was saying. I got completely sidetracked off of that.
Too big. Every time Ham starts capping, right? Just send a $2 super. Just do that. All right.
Oh, whatever.
Good on
Y'all
you,
make sure
bro.
you hit that
Like
like
just to
button if you're new.
refocus,
Share
just
it out.
yeah,
But
yeah, just to refocus the show. Just to refocus the show. Send a super chat, then Ham will shut up. Reishi says Loke 7, he prefers it just the consistency of the stream and less input lag with Xbox, rather play remote play. Okay.
yeah,
Personally, I haven't given Luna a try. It's not even available in my region anyway. So, all right. So let's move on. Speaking of playing all online all the time, Diablo 4 servers are down or were down during the weekend.
yeah, they're
Diablo 4
rough.
servers were down June 25th due to an ongoing DDoS attack. As of this writing, the servers have been down for roughly 3 hours and it's unsure when it will end. It's worth noting that this is not Diablo 4's first serious server outage. It happens from time to time with all the live service games. And since its early access, Diablo 4 has had one genuine outage back on June 8th. Yesterday, June 24th, it was noted and tracked by Blizzard, and Diablo 4 servers were encountering issues likely leading into and or tied into the current DDoS attack. Hamsola, how do you feel about full single player games needing to be online all the time?
Well, if you're referring to Diablo, it's not a full single player game. You can play multiplayer on
Explain,
that
please.
game.
Yeah, but Ham, you don't need to be online to play the single player. Like the campaign, the main campaign, you can play it offline, correct? This is not a it's not a Warframe situation where everything you have to play with like community members. You can play by yourself in your little corner, correct?
No, Diablo 4, you have to be online to play the game.
I exactly, dude. You're not understanding me. You have to be online to play the game. Yes, but there is a campaign mode that you play alone, correct or no?
No,
You cannot play the campaign alone. You need someone with you.
no, you don't need anybody with you, but it's a hub world. So there's
So
always
why
things
not
going on. There's always people running around doing stuff. You're not
when you're doing your campaign?
alone until you go into like a dungeon. You go into a dungeon, you may be alone in there. But the game is more or less in particular, there's these things that happen throughout the map that you have to have online for, which are like world bosses, their legacy or oh no, not legacy, legion events. Oh, I don't know what just happened to my Discord. Oh, that's great. My Discord just decided to restart. That's amazing. That's amazing. Are you still there, Luke?
I'm here.
Okay, yeah, my Discord just like
That's
everything
the
is just going nuts real quick. Okay, so
FTC
anyways,
hearing. I'm telling you, I'm blaming it on the FTC. From now on, I'm blaming everything on the FTC.
oh my god. Oh my god. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. We are now live again. So I believe that was not fun. I didn't enjoy that at all. My whole PC just crashed just all of a sudden. And I think it had to do with Discord because Discord decided to restart.
Mine also crashed.
Okay,
So
you were muted
I
for a
don't know,
second. I
man.
got you back though.
Okay, I was saying my PC also crashed. So I don't know. I don't know if this was Discord or if this is just the same team that DDoS Diablo 4 giving us a light demonstration of what they did. Point is,
Right. It felt like a little
point,
slight right there, a little
yes,
disrespect given.
yes. Point taken, brethren. We will not be making fun of y'all on TSWS Gaming. Raichi says the FTC blocked your content. Google poll. Google is mad. Back from the Big Bad Mo says, "Welcome back. I blame Log." Guys, settle down.
That's pretty
It's not my
fair.
fault. Oh my god. I don't even live in America, but okay. Anyway, Ham Solo. After this light demonstration, what are your thoughts on games that force you to be online all the time? Let's put Diablo to the side. I think it's important to address this specific issue.
Okay, so what do I think about games being online all the time? Something like Diablo doesn't bother me because, like I said,
What?
as we got before we got disconnected, I was telling you that like there's certain things that you have to do within Diablo that are online only, like Legion events, world bosses. I don't know if the what is it called, what is damn, I'm trying to remember. Oh, the whisper missions. I'm not sure if those need to be online or whatnot, but I could see why some of the stuff needs to be online due to allocation and also due to people needing to be able to play together to defeat something. You're not defeating a world boss by yourself. That's not happening. And if you try to do that, it would take you probably a few hours and some very lucky dodging throughout all of that. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying it's like crazy, highly unlikely for something like that to happen. So I can totally see why they have always online for certain games. I'm not saying it's necessary for every game, but in the case of Diablo 4, where you tend to do better when you're with people, yeah, you do. You tend to do better when
That's
you're with
cap.
people. Um, it
Eh,
is it isn't something that like may bother me. I could see why it maybe bother you, but like it's not a game like that isn't the end of the world being online. I have more of an issue with games like um, Gran Turismo 7 being online all the time because that's like you never need to play with anybody on that game.
Goddamn,
You,
because no one is playing. Damn, the shade.
wow,
Back
that's
from the
not what I'm
dead
saying.
said, Back from the dead said, I guess it's not okay to take shots at Stadia even though it's dead. Yes, let the record show.
Yes,
Don't
they
mess with
said, "Let
Stadia
it
or
die.
Google.
Leave us alone."
You know what, Ham? What is dead can never die. Anyways, I disagree with you on this one, Ham. I disagree with you because the world bosses and all these special events, fine. You can make those online must-haves, fine. But I'm not paying $70 to have a game where I can play the full campaign by myself, not be able to play said full campaign because it needs to be online. GTA, in my opinion, did it best. All right, you have your campaign, you have your multiplayer. You can play the campaign fully offline. Cool, no problem. You only miss out on the stocks, and that's it. Besides the stock exchange, you don't miss out anything else in the game. The fact that you cannot access the entire game because the servers are down, you lose twice, in my opinion. You lose because you can't access the game, obviously, but then you lose again because of things like what we're hearing about in the next in the topic that's coming. One of the topics is coming up that the Forza Horizon 1 and 2 servers are shutting down. Fact is, Ham Solo, the servers will shut down. Every server that has ever been opened for every single video game will eventually be shut down. I'm not paying full price for something you're going to take away from me and will lose functionality.
That's fair.
And some people say, oh no, no one plays old games. People play old games
Yeah,
all the time.
that's a lie.
All the time. That's not even an excuse. There's people that's going to be playing Diablo 4 in 2030, 2040, 2050. Just because you don't like it that much doesn't mean some people don't. I still play Tekken 3. All right? So for me, that's my big problem with this whole Diablo 4 thing. I'm slightly miffed about Diablo 4, but what really chafes my tits is the fact that we as a community have just rolled over with this. We rolled over. There was a time we only paid full price for games that you owned access to them. You don't own the game, sure, but you own access to it. We don't own access to Diablo 4. People that make fun of Game Pass, oh, you don't own game, bro. Unless Blizzard does a U-turn and says, oh, you can now play the full campaign offline for Diablo 4, you're screwed. Because Diablo 4, whether you paid $70 for it or whether you get it on Game Pass next year, it's the same difference. The only difference is that one takes longer, the other one doesn't. But in terms of owning access to the game, you don't own access to it. You will lose it eventually. The question is it because you didn't pay your Game Pass subscription, or is it because the servers are finally down? That's my problem with this whole server thing.
Yeah, I could totally
Wait,
understand that. And as somebody that owns quite a bit of old games, I mean, you guys see it every episode for the most part. I keep my Sega, my 64, Sega Saturn, 3DO, PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and like 10 or 11 more other consoles. Like, yeah, I go back to them to play old games, and it would suck if I shoved a cartridge into my Sega, went to flip it on, and it
oh,
was just like
servers are down.
servers are gone. And but it goes all the way back to games on like the 360,
Mm,
PS3 and stuff like that. That it's really prevalent. Like where like there were other consoles that had those issues, sure. Like I'm sure there's some Dreamcast games out there, some PS2 games, some OG Xbox games, but it wasn't like a regular thing
occurrence. Yes.
until the 360 and PS3 days, where those games like Mag would come out. You look at the old US the old Ubisoft games that recently, I believe is either earlier this year or late last year, I don't remember specifically,
Late
but
last year.
you can't play
Yeah.
like Ghost Recon multiplayer anymore, or I mean like online. And and other like game features are now gone. Some of the things that made the game worth the price at the time are now gone, which diminishes a good piece of the game to make you wonder what you really kind of paid for from the jump.
Yes.
So I
So
mean, I can
so
totally
you
get what you're
lose
saying.
with those old games. You only lost the multiplayer, but you still had the campaign. Now you can't even have the campaign, dude. We are paying more, but we're getting less.
Yeah,
That's how
whenever those
ridiculous.
Gran Turismo servers go down completely, you'll only be
It's
able to
over.
just do races. You'll only be able to, unless they figure out a way to give you the license or something on that level to where you can play it always offline.
Sony
As
is
of right
giving
now,
you.
if they were just like, you know what, we're done with it, or we're Gran Turismo 8 is coming out next year. We're using the servers
Yep.
from Gran Turismo 7 to move over to Gran Turismo 8. Then you're looking at
Then you
just an
have to go.
arcade Gran Turismo
You're looking
at that
at
point.
Overwatch. You look at an Overwatch 2 situation.
Exactly.
Literally, that's
Perfect
what we're
example.
doing.
The game's
We are
gone.
we have signed away our rights to accessing the games we pay for. And to me, it feels like I'm the old guy. I'm not that old. I'm 33. I'm not that old. But I feel like the old guy because when I talk about this, everyone's like, "No, but that's how things are." And I'm like,
It is how
"Am I
things
the
are,
only one?
unfortunately.
Am I the only one who feels cheated right now? For real?" Like I'm looking to the side. Everyone's like, "Yeah, this is fine." I'm sitting there like, "Guys, this is not fine. Why is everyone okay with this? This is not okay. We can't be paying $70 and not being guaranteed access to the product for perpetuity."
Look, we can
Because
yell
that
at the
was the
high
big thing.
heavens. We can yell at the high heavens how much we hate it all we want. But what's something that you always say?
I say a
Do
lot
you
of things.
remember?
I say
Okay,
a lot
let
of
me
things,
remind
bro.
you. Let me remind you. You can yell to
Well,
the high heavens of what you dislike in something, how Madden is bad, how Call of Duty is bad, how FIFA is bad. But what matters at the end of the day,
Batman,
Loke? What matters at the end of the day?
money.
Exactly.
Oh God. This
And
this
Diablo's
guy, this
crushing
guy
it right now.
using my catchphrases. It's
And Diablo's
destroying. It's the
crushing it right
fastest
now.
selling Blizzard title of all time now.
You have Diablo. I have Diablo. Most of the people that we know that are
Have
pretty hardcore
Diablo.
gamers have Diablo. So are we
Yeah.
telling them to stop doing it?
Oh God.
When we hop on YouTube and say we have
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop
FOMO
talking to you,
or we
Ham.
can't wait to play this game, and then it comes out and it's online only, and maybe 10% of the of all of us say, I don't like that it's
This
online.
sucks.
Some ain't right. We online all the time. Some ain't right. Yeah, so I mean, 10% ain't doing that. And then on top of it, you more likely paid to figure that out. So it's too late. All I'm
You know
saying,
what? I'm not talking to you anymore. Using my own talking points against me. This is ridiculous.
gotta do what I
Back
gotta
from
do,
the
bro.
dead says having games having games online or digital do have the advantage of not being plagued by disk or cartridge rot. Bro, the way things are going, I think I'm okay with disk and cartridge rot. And I'm someone that is 98% digital because of where I live. But the way it's going, I think I'll turn into one of these guys that double dips, you know? Like I'll buy a game physical and then I'll get the digital just to play it. And then I'll get the digital first. If I really like it, I'll get the physical. Because at
Okay, so
some point they're going to take the right
are you gonna
away
double
from me.
dip on Diablo 4 then? Because it doesn't matter.
I haven't even I haven't even played it if I'm being honest. I'm
It
still
doesn't
I'm
matter
still
though. I'll tell
grinding
you that if you double dip on that, if you double dip on Gran Turismo, if you double dip
because they don't come with a
on
disc anymore.
Overwatch, hey,
You still have to
why don't you go
install.
buy Babylon's Fall and tell me how that goes? You can get the hard
Oh
copy
my
of that.
god. First OG NLG podcast says que pasa hermano, bienvenido. Raichi says I saw on Steam some old MMORPGs converted into single player games. Developers should be able to do with all games. Probably. Probably.
And
Oh my
there's
god.
also people that go out of their way to turn games back online from a community um, kind of support aspect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I know that there is for the original Xbox, there's something that you can purchase to pretty much get Xbox Live kicking on that for particular games. You could play games
Mm,
like Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 online and stuff like that. So
that's nice.
there are ways around it to be able to do it, but then you're kind of hoping that you get community support or you get developer support, like Ray Chi was just kind of saying. Um, it's it's really up to us as consumers to keep these things alive, which is unfortunate.
Which is it's sad. It's not how it should be, bro. Because clearly we do want to keep these things. The problem is that they don't make money for the companies. The companies want to make money on every action. Instead of realizing that there are some actions you won't make immediate money on, in the long term, it will help foster the community and it will help galvanize the community and unite the community. What stuff like this does, in my opinion, it does two things. It disenfranchises the people that are like hardcore fans of games in general, and then it motivates them to either quit or go sail the high seas. Because let's be honest, the safest bet in terms of you getting the best bang for your buck in the long term, not just the current, but the long term, 10, 20, 30 years from now, it's PC gaming. It's sad to say it. It's PC gaming, it's places like GOG, and it's the freaking high seas. Because when the Series X, when the Series X or whatever predecessor successor comes in, we don't even know what Xbox's strategy will be by then. Maybe Phil is gone. Maybe Sarah Bond's in. Maybe Sarah Bond's not a big fan of backwards compatibility. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then we lose another 12, 18,000 games to the annals of history. But if you're on PC, you will forever have those games. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm sitting here being like, I think this might be the last gen for me, as console wise. I think I'll just enjoy people talking about it, but I don't think I can't see myself investing in 2-3 boxes when I feel like I'm just getting shivved at every opportunity. But anyway, I think we've spent enough time on Diablo server and complaining about how we don't have access to games when the servers go down. Next, we have Bethesda's Todd Howard revealing that only 10%, a meager 10% of Starfield's 1,000 plus planets have life on them. Solo, what are your thoughts on this reveal?
Sounds like reality.
Are you disappointed with the number of planets that have life?
No.
No? It's just
No.
10%, Ham. 10% is what? It's nothing. It's like 10 planets, right? I mean, Mass
No.
Effect has more planets.
Out of 1,000, it's 100 planets, Luke.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to bring up the fact that a lot of people were freaking out about, oh, it's just 10%. And I'm like, dude, can you imagine? 100 fully rendered planets. Planets, not cities, dude. Planets.
Yeah, planets. People are acting like this is like they're going from Los Venturas to fucking Los Santos or something. It's like, no, bro, you're going from one entire world to another. And keep in mind, most of the galaxy that we know of has very little life on it. And then those that have life on it, like this world, look how many dead zones we have. Just nothing.
Yep. Just nothing.
Like just go to the mountains in Colorado. As soon as you leave Denver, going west, some towns, a couple towns that you really got to travel to find. Go to Nevada and take out Las Vegas. What do you got? Do you know what I'm saying? Go to Arizona,
Saudi Arabia.
Oh my goodness, go to the Middle East. Tell me about it,
dude. So much dirt.
Yeah,
so much dirt.
Desolate doesn't even just describe it completely. It is just, if you get dropped by a plane there, you are dying somewhere.
Yes,
You-
yes. You're not walking. No, it's over. It's over. Say a prayer, make peace.
Mm,
Yeah. Fastback says 100 plus planets is a lot. Plus, you will have ships to dock and space stations. I didn't think about that, Ham. Space stations, dude. How many? 20? 30?
I don't know.
Raichi says I would pay $300 for Elder Scrolls Online, but offline so I can cheat and cruise through the lore of Tamriel. See, that is an interesting concept, Ham. Because
That's
one of
phenomenal.
my
Actually, that sounds
issues,
dope
yeah, one of my issues with the whole Elder Scrolls Online is that, dude, it is so big,
and
and it's
competitive.
not like, yeah, it's not like the vanilla Skyrim that you can do stuff to kind of have an easier time. You have to earn beating every single one of those DLCs. There's no way around it. You know? That concept sounds interesting. I'm not sure about $300, but the concept itself sounds very interesting. All right, let's keep it moving. Another non-story that everyone was losing it over. Essentially, we got a report from the Game Rant saying that Starfield might be coming without a disc. And Bethesda came out and said that the physical version would be coming with a disc. Ham Solo, after what you just said about Diablo, saying it doesn't make a difference, does this make a difference for you? Because you and I are both getting the physical editions of Starfield. Does it make a difference that
I'm not
they're
getting the
they're
physical
adding the disc?
version of it. I'm getting a consolation edition that comes with a digital code, and I'm not very happy about that. But then
Oh,
again, and
okay.
it was the same thing for the God of War High Edition, the Jotnar edition. It was the same thing
Mm-hmm.
for several of these different. Hell, Alan Wake said they're not doing any physical at
At
all
all.
in any way, shape,
Yeah.
or form. So I mean, in the sense of me wanting to have the game to turn it on and just play it, that's probably that I mean, good luck with getting 1,000 planets into a disc or two. I don't even know how you would transfer the disc if it was a multi-disc game, right? What are you going to tell it to eject in
Mm,
the middle of the game? Because ejecting in the middle of the game just
yeah.
shuts off the game.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
and
it closes the program, yeah.
exactly. So I don't know how you do that. The thing that'd be nice is just the ability to download it from said disc. So just having that tangible thing that you can touch is what would make this nice. Same with like Alan
Yeah.
Wake, maybe. Same with like the God of War, Ragnarok, like that stuff. It's not that the games need to like from a collector's standpoint. Sorry about that. So yeah, from a collector standpoint, you just want to have something that you can touch, something that you can see, something that you could, pop out of the pop out of the case, right? You just want to be able to open the case and have a reason to pop something out. Um,
Mm.
that's nice, but I don't expect some of these games that are so large in scale to be able to
Yeah,
completely run the entire game. So
just
with
from
that
the disc.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So from that aspect, I understand digital, but at the same time, from a collector standpoint, I'm getting a watch, I'm getting a case, I'm getting like a pendant kind of thing that I could sew on.
Mm.
Why can't I have a disc?
Well, you just broke it down, Ham.
But I'm just
You
saying,
just broke it.
other people are getting a disc. If you buy it at the
Oh,
store, you're getting a disc.
yes, 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 yes.
You see what I'm saying? Why?
Yes.
It's like they have their own collector's edition almost, but they get the actual damn game.
Yeah.
I get to
Yeah.
watch a pendant in a briefcase. I mean, I'm happy
but no
with what I'm
game.
gonna get, and I think it's gonna be special. Getting that watch, it's a smart watch. It's a pretty nice looking watch. The case looks
Mm,
super duper dope. The pendant, probably will never use it, but I'll keep it on there. Who knows? Maybe I'll sew it onto one of my flight suits that I actually have
who knows?
from when I worked at iFly indoor skydiving. Hell, I might do that just for the hell
Mm,
of it, just to have some fun with that. But I just think it's awkward that, and it was the same thing for God of War. How you could go to the store, you can get God of War for PS4 disc. You can go to the store, get God of War for PS5 disc. But you get the Jotnar edition, you get a fucking hammer, you get figurines, you get a fucking necklace, but no disc. You get a steel case, but no disc. And
no disc.
it's just like I just don't know
What are
who
we
put this
doing?
plan together for
Oof.
any of these companies. I don't understand who put it together for Xbox and Bethesda. I don't know who's doing it for Sony Santa Monica. I mean, I understand they're trying to save as much money as possible, but I'll pay another $10, $20. I mean, at that point, I'm already paying $300. What's another $10, $20 for the
What's
disc?
another 10? Yeah, yeah. But if we're being objective, Ham, even the people that are getting the disc, they're still not getting the game because after you install it, you still have all the patches, you still have
Right.
all the updates. So
Yeah, yeah. In other
even
words, it's
if
just like an update, pretty much. It's an update to say,
that's all
hey,
it is,
this person, you have the license. Now do whatever you want with it.
yeah, but you still don't have the full game, even if you have the disc,
Right.
which is even more infuriating. Back from the Dead says, if with 100 planets each one has has 1 hour story. That's a 100-hour game in just story. That's a fact, dude. Reichi says just 100 planets. Meanwhile, other games with a single city. Wow, this is amazing. Oh, they're crying for
Mm.
100 planets, and then yeah, the double standard is there. It's there. But if we're being honest, we try to be honest here, Ham. If Starfield was multiplat, nobody would be complaining.
No.
No one. Everyone would be psyched about the 100 planets. Anyways, let's get into the FTC case. Let's do this so
Oh
we can
Lord.
get it over with. Brief
You
breakdown
sure
from
you want to get
the
into that, or you want to
Forbes.
talk about Forza first? That's still on the
All
docket,
right, go.
and LeBron James
Let's,
limited edition thing.
all right, yeah,
So
because I can.
like I
I
said, we
assume,
need
yeah,
to
you're
end
right.
it with the FTC thing because I want to break
Yeah,
some things down. I want to talk about what's been going on in the hearing and whatnot, and I don't want to finish all that, be mentally
and then
exhausted, and
go to Forza.
have to talk about Forza. That just doesn't sound dope.
Mentally exhausted. I'm mentally exhausted before getting into the case. But anyway, let's do it. Forza Horizon 1 and 2 servers will shut down in August. So Turn 10 has announced that it will be shutting down. This story is from our dear beloved IGN. Turn
Stop
10 has
saying that.
announced that
Nobody loves IGN.
everyone loves IGN. All right. Turn 10
Yeah.
has announced that it'll be shutting down Forza Horizon 1 and 2 online servers on August 22nd, 2023. Online functionality such as matchmaking and leaderboards, as well as browsing and downloading online user generated content, won't be available after the shutdown date. The single player experience in both games will remain playable. Go, Ham. Say whatever you want to say about this. The most important thing has already been said.
Yeah, that it's still playable, just not
Yes.
online. So
Yes.
I mean, we just got done talking about this with Ubisoft, with Diablo. And the difference here is obvious. Diablo you can't play if it goes offline. This you can. Um, Ghost Recon you can play it offline, just like this. So I think it's totally
Mm.
fine. This game is so dang old. The only thing that kind of stinks, of course, is that you know servers come and servers go. That's the
Yes.
bottom line. of it. Servers get
Because
reallocated to
oh,
other
oh,
things. Yeah, exactly right. And like the same thing soon is going to be happening with Ark, one of my favorite games, Ark Survival Evolved. They're going to Ark Survival, or yeah, Ark Survival Ascended, which they're
they're
taking
doing us
all the
a favor. All right.
um
There's no need to even transfer those servers. Grab those servers, right, and
you're
shoot
gonna
them
wish you would
into
have
the
listened.
sun.
You're gonna wish you would have listened
What?
instead of interrupted me.
What are they gonna do?
Um, so Ark Survival Evolved servers are getting taken and reallocated to the Ark Survival Ascended servers. I don't know why it bothers you so much. Just don't play the game, Lo. You don't have to play it. No one's grabbing you by the throat and telling you to download this game. So relax. It's
I need
okay.
you to finish your point on Ark so we can move on.
That
I'm
was my
so done
point.
with
Is
listening.
that the serve?
Ark.
I mean, goodness gracious, look, you're coping hard for a game you don't even play. Relax. I play the game. Some other people play the game. I know Boogeyman plays the game all the time. Boogeyman has more time than I do, I
Boogie
believe.
would play that game. He
Um.
sounds like he would play the game.
Oh my goodness. You sound like you don't play games, so you better relax. But
Oh man.
anyways,
Anyway, finish.
yeah. So they're reallocating those servers for themselves to be able to save money. So other companies are going to do that exact same thing. They're going to take those servers away from a game that's either at the end of its life cycle or not doing so hot and put it towards something else. And it stinks, but at the same time, it's just kind of the way it is at this point. It's too late to do a grandstand on it now and tell everybody how mad, because all that's going to happen is we're going to tell everybody how mad we are, and people are still going to go out and buy
Probably. Probably. But I just wanted to repeat again that the single player will be available in perpetuity. If you own the game, you still have access to that. That's how everyone should do it.
it. That's how Ark's doing it as well.
Everyone.
You can play single player in that, bruh. How about that?
Moving on. Moving on. LeBron James limited edition PS5 accessories release date confirmed. This is from Game Rant. Sony confirmed that the upcoming LeBron James PS5 accessories will release on July 27th, in addition to revealing their pre-order details and other availability information. The cover faceplate will retail at $65 US, whereas the PS5 controller designed in collaboration with the NBA icon will set its buyers back $80. Pre-orders for the limited edition LeBron James PS5 cover and DualSense controller scheduled to begin on Thursday, 29. Ham Solo, what do you think about the design of the LeBron James limited edition PS5 accessories?
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up is what Ray Chi just said in the chat, which is super duper dope, even though I'm not a fan of the Crew 2 at all. I really
Ooh,
don't like that game. But something that you gotta give props to, either you like something or not, is when they do
mm,
something for the fans. They do something for those
yeah,
that are interested in it. And what Ray Chi just said in the chat, for those of you that are listening, that are whether you're in the chat or not, he just got done saying you will be able to transfer your cars of Ubisoft, the Crew 2, to the next game, which is supposed to be coming out later on this year. This is amazing in his opinion. And Stanley Francois agrees. That's pretty dope. And I agree with
I
that
also
as
agree.
well. That is
Yeah,
that
I
is
also
something
agree.
that is super rare. That's something that I've thought about in other games. Like, man, I just wish I could carry over so I don't have to work for the same exact vehicle that I just worked for or whatnot. So, I mean, I wonder how that's going to be done, if they're going to give you all the same vehicles, but you have to respec them yourself, or if the games or if the vehicles are going to be completely spec the way that you had them prior.
That
The,
would be
the
interesting.
one thing that I think is a must is obviously, like, if they're using a lot of the same assets in the game, I'd assume that they would want to move over not only the car but the details and like stuff that you put to it. So if you
Vinyls.
did like a specific paint job for it, if you put specific spoilers or exhaust or something like that on the car. I think that the look of your vehicle should transfer over. If they give you a plain Jane vehicle when you get over, it'd be like kind
Man,
of like bittersweet. It'd still be
yeah, it kind of
appreciated,
defeats
but
the whole
bittersweet.
point. It defeats the whole point, in my opinion. All right.
But anyways, going back to the LeBron James thing, you said can you re-ask the
The
question real
design.
quick?
What you think about the design of the
No, it's
LeBron James
trash. It looks like somebody took
successors?
a marker and wrote all over it with like neon marker and like in like a perfect font. I'm not interested in a controller like this. It would have been cool if they would have put like, I don't know, maybe this is a little overkill, but if they would have put like LeBron on it or like a basketball theme, like where it's like a basketball controller
Yeah,
with
there's nothing about it
with
that
maybe
screams
some
basketball.
yeah, with maybe some like writing on it. But like I'm wondering if I scroll down if I can see the whole controller. So yeah, here's the whole controller. I'm gonna go on ahead and hit the play button on YouTube so people can watch it. I need to mute it, of course. Um, but yeah, so that's the controller. I mean, all those lights that are shining off of it are not really there. So there you go. You can see it now with the regular lights. But it just looks like somebody took that controller to high school and then was like, everybody sign my yearbook. And instead of a yearbook, they busted out a controller.
Oh man.
That's kind of what it looks like. It's not that
People just
amazing.
randomly signing it.
Just like it just looks like it's just a bunch of sayings on a controller. Like, let me go on ahead and just like pause it so like you can see it. So those of you can see it right there. Oh, of course. Oh wait, there we go. So yeah, so you see a bunch of king hats in blue, pink, gold, and like cyan and white. On the right side of the controller, it says "Chosen One" with like a rocket ship taking off, and that has nothing to do with basketball. Well, I mean, the chosen one does because that's what LeBron supposedly goes by, but with the rocket ship taking off, don't get
Stealing
it.
the rocks, stealing the rocks moniker, dude. Come on. Be
I know, right?
original.
Right. Damn, he's stealing everything he got. But anyways,
God damn.
it says build, uplift. Does it say engineer? I don't know. And then it says I promise on the bottom.
You know
Nothing
what it says? It
is
says
given,
too much.
everything is earned in the yeah, it's just like I'm wondering if after owning this controller, and let's say you're getting sweaty playing some basketball, I wonder if any of that's gonna rub off. I wonder how that's printed on there.
Wow.
You,
Yeah,
you see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that's a legit question.
So, I mean, there's a lot of questions that come with this. But I mean, is it worth it? It is to the eye of the beholder. I can't tell you if it's worth it for you. Is it worth it to me? Absolutely
I don't
not.
know.
Absolutely not. I don't want a graffiti controller because that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, it's LeBron James.
Oh
Not my
man, you said
goat.
this was
That's all
sweet.
I'm gonna say.
Not my god.
That's all I'm gonna say. Not my goat. This man's not even better. He still hasn't passed Kobe and Duncan.
Oh
And
my
people are putting
goodness,
him next
let's
to
not
Jordan.
get into that right now. We're just talking
Settle
about the
down.
controller, and I mean, in my opinion, he's the best in the league right now.
Right
Um,
now, sure.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, or at least the most the most feared in the league, I'd say. Yeah, I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
not.
Uh,
I don't know, but
you know
I
what?
mean, it's
He
changing.
does.
He's getting, but yeah, I just
Yeah, he's ancient.
this controller. If you're a diehard LeBron fan, I get it. I get why you'd get this.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're a basketball fan, meh. If you're not a fan of basketball at all, this controller doesn't even look interesting.
Yes. It looks ugly, in fact.
A
Also,
lot, I've
Michael
seen a lot of
Jordan's.
people complaining, "Where's the Spider-Man controller?" We got this. I'd rather see a Spider-Man controller.
Oh,
Like, I think
yo,
MBG actually said that. He
that
says, like,
is
"This is interesting. I would have thought they would have talked about a Spider-Man controller, but I guess
you know
not."
what? 2023, Sony is high at the wheel. Let's give them a break.
On drugs.
Let's give them a break because we might have to start talking about the showcase and then the announcements for the exclusive at the Summer Game Fest instead of their showcase, and then the fact that 98% of their showcase is essentially just games that are coming out on Xbox as well. It's all over the place this year for Sony. So this for me, they're just keeping the average. Not shocking at all. Stanley Francois says it looks like an old NBA 2K theme. Fastback says Curry best right now, in my opinion. Curry. You know what? We'll add that to next week's topic. Who is the best right now?
Oh yeah, we should invite maybe Mike and K Mega or K Lem or not K Lemon or K
Ooh,
Mega and Mike and maybe have like a quick little and I think what we should do is we should have that at the end of the show.
yes, let's do that because I don't think it'll be quick. I
No,
don't think it'll be quick. Mom's
no,
not
not
talking
at
about
all.
stats and legacy and all this and choke jobs. No, no, no. It'll take forever. Anyways, let's finally get into the meat and potatoes. The FTC Sony case against the Microsoft Activision deal is very bad. This is literally the headline for the article by Paul Tassi at Forbes. For context, this is a guy that has been accused of being a pony for years. Okay? And this headline, very console warrior-ish heavy material, in my opinion. So, anyways, Ham, you can feel free to put up what we're going to be talking about. Essentially, it's the bullet points of what happened in the case,
Yeah, me and
excluding
K.
what you're.
Yeah, like I said, me and K Mega talked about this earlier. So what we're gonna start with is the bullet points that me and K Mega kind of ended off with yesterday, and then we'll kind of start talking about the hearing as of today. One thing I'll
Yeah, yeah.
also bring into this is what Florian Mueller's been saying on Twitter, just so you guys can kind of keep up to date with what's been going on. If you don't mind, Loke, you know you do have FOSS patents followed, or you've been you know Florian Mueller, you've been following him at all, have you?
I have.
So I'm gonna need you to pull that up because we're gonna tag team that part. And we're not gonna start at the very beginning because he's already at 72.
Lord.
So we're gonna go back and forth and just more or less talk about the hot button ones that we find in between. So that's why I want to go back and forth. So it gives us each time to kind of extrapolate a little bit of what's been going on. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll be able to actually point out whether we're talking about the first tweet, the 30th tweet, the 75th tweet, or whatever. You know what I mean?
We'll make it to the seventh. Okay, let's go. Let's go. It's fine. Let's do it.
So going ahead and let's go on ahead and knock out these bullet points first, and then we'll go into
Okay,
what
where were
Florian
you
has to
guys
say.
yesterday? Where were you guys yesterday? Is it the FTC tried the gotcha on Phil Spencer?
No, so we just hit the three bullet. We hit the top. Okay, yeah. So we ended at the third bullet point yesterday, so we can go from there. Start on number
All right.
4.
Okay, let's go. The FTC tried to gotcha Phil Spencer by making him swear under oath he would keep Call of Duty on PlayStation and future PlayStations. He then swore that under oath. Then they tried to make him swear the same about other games, and the judge was so annoyed by them attempting to do that, she cut them off. Ham, first off, Phil Spencer swore that he would keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. he didn't swear that Xbox would keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Are you following me?
What? No, I'm not.
No. Oh, sorry. I think I switched the words. He said that he swore that he would keep COD on PlayStation. He didn't swear that Xbox would keep
Oh, I see
COD
what you're
on
trying to
PlayStation.
say. So you're saying like once he leaves, there could be a switch of thought and position to then
No
take
one
Call of
lied.
Duty off of it.
No
But the
one.
thing
That's
is,
the problem. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but the thing is from what I thought was like reiterated is that they're gonna keep Call of Duty on, like Xbox was gonna keep Call of Duty on it. I didn't know this was just specifically Bill that said this.
Oh yes, yes. The question, the swearing under oath was directed to Phil Spencer, not to Xbox. And he personally said, I will keep COD on PlayStation. Well, what happens when you're out, motherfucker? What happens? Anyway, go ahead. What did you extrapolate from this one? You're muted, bruv.
I just thought that this was Xbox keeping it on PlayStation, not not at the Phil Spencer level, but at the full um platform level. So that is something I'd have to do more research into before I even kind of dig into anymore.
All right. Stanley Francois is still talking about them Damn, everyone's talking about basketball. Well, I have to agree. Big Mad Mo, he is a fraud. Yes, LeBron is a fraud. Stanley Francois said, "Yes, sir. My
Yes.
dog, my my dog Phil hit them with wordplay. LOL. Exactly. Sir X Man. Yes, we're not talking about Phil being smart, playing word chess. So yeah, Ham. What I took from this is that nothing was actually sworn. Everyone is talking about Sarah Bond taking over in the near future. So Phil Spencer can make all the promises he wants. I'm not sure he's still going to be there in 5 years. So
That's fair.
yeah. Raichi says PS fan, don't fire Phil Spencer. Yes, the worst thing that could happen. Phil Spencer. I don't know why, Ham. I get the feeling Sarah Bond might be more cutthroat than Phil Spencer.
I
That
agree.
smile. Yeah, you agree exactly. That
Man, I've
smile.
been around a
Mm-mm.
lot of black women before. They smile, smile, smile. But once that
Damn.
camera goes off or they step backstage, the real comes out. And it's no
Dude.
disrespect at all. I love me some black women. I love my mama. I love my family members. I enjoyed my
But
past relationships that I had.
but
Um, but like there is on-screen mama, and then there is off-screen mama, and they are not the
yeah.
same. They are
No,
not the
no,
same. So
sir.
I can only imagine how professional she is with like maybe like the competitors and or people that she has to work with. So it's like third party developers, ID at Xbox and whatnot. But I
Mm.
would not really want to be told to go to her office and close the door behind
Yo.
me.
That bad? That bad.
I mean, don't let the pretty fool you.
Yes.
She didn't get where she
Yes. I
got being super
agree.
nice at every corner.
Or just being pretty. You know what I mean? Or
You know
or
the
even
the
people
the
that
the,
like
the, the, the
say
the
that.
prettiness, the clothes, the way that she talked. That only did
Don't
so
fall.
much. That only did so
Don't
much.
fall.
It is the grittiness that gets you into a spot next to Phil Spencer. You don't get there just being cordial and happy and everyone's hired and no one's fired. Like you don't get there
Oh,
like that.
I'm just grateful to be here. this is such a great opportunity for me. That's probably not what she's like behind closed doors. So yeah, I 100% agree. People, the PlayStation stands that don't like Phil now. Hmm. Anyways, Matt Likes Game says, yeah, I think Loki has a point, but it's also optics. Microsoft is going to acquire more after this, and it's gonna help them if they keep their word on things.
Facts.
Matt Likes Games also said, I'd be down for Sarah Bond to take over though. She's a G. Sally Francois says, yeah, she's a G. Okay, so everyone essentially is like, yo, I'm not trying to mess with Sarah Bond. She don't look like she's fun. She a G, whatever. No? Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving, yo. Uh, Sally Francois went left. He said, straight up Medusa. As soon as you think it's safe
Oh
to look, she
damn.
strikes. Lord. Lilith out here killing it. Okay, let's keep it moving. Next, the FTC has shown a poor baseline understanding of the industry they're trying to regulate here by killing this deal. At one point, the FTC asked Sarah Bond if you needed a Windows key to stream video games. In addition to not knowing how existing exclusivity arrangements are made, and how many Sony itself has done over the years and continues to do. Ham, I get the feeling at the end of this, people are just going to be like, why isn't Microsoft acquiring more? You know? Why are they just going for Activision Blizzard? But anyway, what's your takeaway from this excerpt here?
My takeaway is you said you did your research, but but the results show, as Maury would say, the survey says you
Oh.
didn't do shit. I mean, goodness gracious, like all they had to do is ask somebody with knowledge about playing on PC. You know, I just it just really feels like one of those situations where you told your mom you studied, you told the teacher you studied, but you still got a D.
Hmm.
And everybody's trying to make sense of it. Like, how you get a D, but you said you studied? Why are you asking me these goofy ass questions when you said you studied? So I mean, that's really the way I ended up looking at it altogether. I was just like, Windows key, like you don't need
What?
a Windows key to play to play Xbox. I remember getting Windows on my Steam Deck without the key, and I was already playing games on it. I ended up
I
getting the
was going
key.
to ask, do you need a Windows key to even open a window to even open Windows? Because you need to have Windows on for you to insert the Windows key. Do you get what I'm saying right
Right.
now? It's like
Exactly. It's like
chicken egg,
saying
chicken egg.
exactly, right? Do you need to turn on the car without I mean, can you turn on the keys with or can you turn on the car without the keys?
Oh Lord.
It's like one of those kind of things. It's like, yeah, you
Yeah, and the
can.
person was very
You
serious about
get more
this when they asked me this.
features with the key, but you can still turn over the vehicle. You can still listen to music. You can still do stuff. The car is still works. It just doesn't work as intended.
Oh my God. Okay, so next. Essentially, this is just bullet points of the FTC embarrassing themselves. The last bullet point was the FTC called someone from Google Stadia to stand to testify about cloud gaming. Mm. The reason the deal was blocked in the UK, all the Stadia inclusion really proves is that it's a tiny market with no real audience that's deeply hard to find footing in. It almost felt like a witness from Microsoft's side as they're trying to show that cloud gaming is a nascent, which which means being born small, all right? Synonym. Difficult market and a fraction of this overall deal. Um, Yeah, go ahead, Em.
That was an ugly moment. That was an ugly moment because it was just like the person from Stadia pretty much said exactly what the Microsoft lawyers were looking for, and said nothing of what the FTC lawyers were looking for. So again, this is a situation where you told mama that you studied, you told your
But you
teacher
did
that you studied, but you still got a D. I hate to repeat
yeah.
myself like that, but
It's an F.
it's
It's
like
an
that
F at
whole
this point.
day they just winged it. They were just like, you know what, we're gonna wing it, and hopefully things go our favor, as if they didn't have any idea who they were calling to the stand. They were just like,
Can we all
that guy over there, he looks important. Come to the
Yeah,
stage.
you come,
you know,
dude. For me, this last one, it was it was devastating because it also deconstructs the CMA's argument. Because the entire CMA case, the entire thing, it stands on cloud gaming. If you remove cloud gaming, the CMA it has no more arguments.
right?
So this tiny paragraph or this tiny interaction that happened here at the FTC, I'm sure everyone at the CMA is poring over that and they're trying to figure out how that is not going to happen to them when it's their turn. And Microsoft's like, let's take this to court. They're either trying to figure out how to bypass this problem, this fact, right? That this is a tiny part of the gaming pie, or they're trying to figure out how can we settle. If they can't figure out how they're going to circumvent this, how can we settle? How can we save face? Because this is embarrassing. This is Christ. You bring up your witness, and by the end of it, it's like I think you brought up Microsoft's witness. You're proving their point. That was hard to watch. It was hard to read as well. Let's move on to your point, Sam.
Oh, we already did mine, I
Uh,
thought.
no, no, sorry, Florian Mueller's
Oh, okay, yeah.
points.
So do you have it pulled up?
Yes, I do. What
Oh,
number are we starting on?
well, we're gonna kick it off on one, but we're gonna cherry pick from there. All right, so I'll start with
Okay.
one and maybe go to two and three. I might throw a couple of them together, and then you can start to look and find whatever ones. If I was you right now, I'd maybe find whichever ones that you're going to be interested in talking to after mine. But I'm gonna hit one, two, and three right now.
Mhm.
So Florian Mueller, and I'm going ahead and show this on the screen so you guys can kind of follow me with it. Um, he starts off with day three of the FTC versus Microsoft Activision PI hearing. George Corley explains that legal live streams of the of the court's official Zoom audio jeopardizes the availability of live streamers for this proceeding and for all other cases. Similar situation um, here as with the Cat Tribunal, and people were getting in trouble this not that long ago for
Mhm.
having live streamed on it. I'm not going to throw any names out there, but some PlayStation folks got in trouble. I'm sure some Xbox folks out there. I just know in particular one PlayStation guy that got really disappointed that he got caught for it. But anyways, moving
Ooh,
on to
what
number
happened?
two.
What happened?
What?
What happened to the PlayStation guy that got caught?
Well, I don't know if anything actually happened. I think he just had to like take down the stream and all that, and maybe he got like an unwanted email. I don't know what happened in any of the specifics. But moving on to number two X, as you guys can see on the screen, it says now we see Jim Ryan um against a blue background videotape deposition of April 6th, 2023, wearing a greenish jacket and a blue tie. So I listened to that, and that was interesting. I thought I was like, hold up a second. I thought he didn't come to court, and then I figured out it was a recording of it, and I was just like, man, like they grilled him up a little bit, but all in all, I don't think Jim Ryan did too bad for what he
Mm.
was supposed to be there to do. Even though he wasn't really there, right?
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
being questioned from a prior date. And the one thing that I found weird is that that they're talking about something that's supposed to be happening now in the past. And it's interesting that like new questions can't be brought up at all because it's a recording. So any kind of evidence
Yes.
found throughout the case, because this, as
Uh,
Florian said, this happened. This a videotaped deposition of April 6th. How long ago was that? That was like that was over 2.5 months ago. Okay, so it's just like
yeah.
cool that
Compared
we
to
got
what
you
we
to
know
say
now.
some stuff for the record, but that doesn't really make people too confident on either side. It's just kind of like you could be just answering old questions, which I'm sure that they, went through and made sure that they had the proper kind of questions to keep to keep it relevant. But it still
Mm.
begs that there could have been more questions that could have been asked that would have been more suitable for now that aren't getting answered while your boy's hanging out with Kojima and stuff like that.
Oh Lord.
I'm just saying, like, he clearly has time for something, but
Mm-hmm. Just not
that something
this.
isn't one of the most important things in gaming history. And that's weird to me. This could be one of the most important moves in gaming history.
Yes.
And you
Certainly of
choose
our lifetime.
in yeah, exactly. And you choose to be unavailable. It just doesn't send the right message. Whether they win or not, whatever. If he wins and he didn't even show up to court, bro, I think a lot of people are going to be restructuring their reasoning on going to court because this isn't no small deal. This is a $70 billion deal. So this is like one of the largest deals in the world, right? And you got somebody
Mm.
defending it without even being there. Hella crazy. But
Yeah.
going on, do you have anything to say about that before I continue on with 3?
No. Carry on. Carry on.
Florian also goes to say that Ryan is presently in Japan meeting a game developer with whom he did a skip the Xbox type of deal. The CEO of company whose HQ is closer to the courthouse than that of any other company involved here. Okay, that's a big nothing burger. Continue. I see what
Yes.
he's doing. He's getting people salty. I
Mm.
see what he's doing. He's getting people salty that he didn't show up to court. Which, whatever. But
Pretty
anyways,
much.
you go on ahead. Tell me what number you're on.
Okay. Number 8. So here it says, yes, Ryan answers to FTC question of whether he expressed to Phil Spencer any concerns over the continued availability of Activision titles for the PlayStation, but we know his initial internal reaction was that there was no reason for concern. Number 9, FTC asks Ryan whether he negotiated the access agreement at all that Microsoft proposed. His answer was no. That's not what is called a constructive approach. This is just, I just want to block your merger stuff. So this for me was interesting because the answer, the way he answered, for anyone that was doubting the emails where it said that he said, "I just want to block this," or Lulu, what Lulu claimed a couple of weeks or maybe even months ago, saying that they just want to block it. Here you go, clear as day. Did you negotiate? No. Full stop. Which means he wasn't interested in negotiating. He just wanted to nuke the whole thing. So if we're picking sides about who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you freaking go. Any takes on this one, Ham?
Not really. I'm looking forward to or did you
Okay,
have any
hold on.
more?
No, that's it. But before you go, I wanna. Raichi says for anime fans, Ryan is Lelouch sending recordings to. Lelouch was a genius. All right, Ryan. Excuse me. Ryan is embarrassing himself. He's embarrassing himself, and he's embarrassing everyone that's into PlayStation. Lelouch was a genius. Did you watch the anime with Lelouch? I'm forgetting the name.
Mm-mm.
You should watch it. I'll look it up for you and then I'll send it. It's kind of old, but trust me, it's freaking gold. Anyway, go on to yours.
Okay, I'm looking down at I'm looking down at number 11 where it says Ryan now says that when the deal was announced in mid January 2022, he was still hopeful that they could come to an agreement with Xbox regarding COD. Now, why did then not negotiate the
Not
proposal?
negotiable.
Yeah, not negotiate the proposal Microsoft made later. This doesn't make sense, and in my opinion, it kind of doesn't really exactly make sense either. I'm wondering how they went about negotiating because from what it seemed like from us, on the outside looking in, is it seemed like no matter what they did, it wasn't good enough. And
Yeah, they just lied. Oh yeah, Ham. The anime is called Code Geass. Dude, I promise you, Ham. I promise you, you want to watch this anime. I promise you.
DM it
Watch
to me later.
Code Geass. I'm doing it right now. I love
Okay.
this anime. Shout out to Reichi. Thank you, bro. Go ahead and finish.
Continuing on for number 12, he says Jim Ryan says an August email from Phil Spencer was a key reason for him to be concerned. But if that was so, why didn't Sony make a counter proposal at the earliest opportunity?
In good faith.
Because they probably got an indication from the CMA government that they were going to block. Ooh, that's an
Mm,
interesting.
yep.
That's an interesting thought right there.
Which
Absolutely.
kind of
What
makes
do you think
sense.
about that?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, the guy was making flights. He was having coffees. Probably had a room
You're
like
right. He was
in
making some flights. Yep.
in the hotel. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, probably had a room adjacent to their offices. Bro probably had like a key card. He was an employee for the month. Had free reign in the whole building. I wouldn't doubt if this is actually what happened. I think it's important to point out that it's in PlayStation's best interests. All this like behavior that we're criticizing or whatever, it's in their best interest to do it because we all recognize the fact that if Xbox does what they're trying to do, there will be a seismic shift. I just want to quickly put that out there. Do we agree on that, Ham?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm just trying to say that sure he's lying, he's crying, he's rhyming with Ryan, but he's just doing his job.
I mean,
Anyways,
that's true. Like it
I
or not, that is what he's
yeah,
supposed to do.
I found a way to defend Jim Ryan. Anyways,
You sure did.
just
I
sneaking
see it
in
was
there.
getting
Anyway,
hot over there for you. I see it was getting hot. You had to take off that blue sweater, didn't you? You were
it,
sweating a little bit.
y- you have no evidence I was wearing a blue sweater
Oh,
today. You have no
whatever.
evidence.
Okay, yeah, we do have the
Uh,
evidence.
Viewers would have to rewind and rewatch the show. Like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Next, number 13, and this one really, really stressed me out. Uh, and I quote, how many PS gamers would desert the platform in that foreclosure scenario? Obviously, this is a hypothetical question. They cut out from the video some confidential numbers such as percentage of US PS gamers who play only Call of Duty. Ham Solo, this is where it's at. This is the real story.
Mm-hmm.
How many?
I just feel like it wouldn't be as many as they think. This is not the PS2
Man,
original Xbox situation. Even if you ask a lot of people during the 360 Xbox, the Xbox 360 PS3 generation, how many people did you hear saying? And I could be completely wrong on this, but how many people did you hear saying I returned my PS3 to get an Xbox?
I didn't. I kept the PS3 because of MGS4, but I did eventually jump to the 360 because Gears of War was just everywhere. But
Exactly,
yeah, I did.
and same thing with the PS4 and Xbox One generation. I didn't. Now I did hear some people saying I didn't want my Xbox anymore. I heard that,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
did see a lot of people that had an Xbox and a PS4 or whatnot. So maybe that has a little bit of validity, but I feel like the only reason people got rid of the Xbox is because of the moniker that it had. Has no games, right? Later on in the generation, early in the generation, it had quite a bit of games, but later on in the generation, it started to get pretty desolate. People started to not believe in it as much and whatnot. Now we get to this generation where Phil Spencer himself said that, yo, people made libraries for their consoles last generation. If you have 300 games, if you have like 300 plus games like I do on my Xbox ecosystem, it would make 0 cents to get rid of my Xbox for a PlayStation because then I'm getting rid of a ton of digital games. Same thing goes for the PlayStation. If I had a PS4 all generation last generation, and I bought majority of my games digital because that's what I do for the newer consoles, for the Xbox One and the Series X, and now the PS5 as well. I get digital games on those consoles. Sometimes I get physical if they're on a crazy great deal, but for the most part, I get them digital. I'm not gonna sacrifice. I didn't even throw out my Xbox One of last generation. I still have my Xbox Ones. I have the Series X and all the games that are on it. I'm not gonna be like, oh man, we had a bad year in gaming. I'm gonna sell my entire console with over 300 games that I purchased from all the way back to the 360 generation to now. I'm just gonna throw it out the window. It's done. I feel like that's going
Yeah.
to be the same thing for PlayStation players. They're going to have a digital library, and they're not going to want to throw it out the window because they'll. I mean, there'll be some out there that they really want the Xbox. They really want to play Starfield or something like that, and they get rid of it because they don't have the funds like that. But I think majority of people will want to do what they can to keep both.
Yes, yes. And this is where I think Sony is scared because I don't, the transition will not be immediate. It'll be, okay, let's get a Series X so we can play Starfield. Do you understand? Sure, you get Starfield. you're having a blast with Starfield. You know what the big
Continue. I'll be right
problem
back.
is with these consoles? The problem with these consoles is when you log in, when you turn on the console, you don't immediately jump into Starfield. That's not how it works. It's not like the old consoles. When you log in, you first see the promotions, the ads. Even if you try to ignore them, they're the first thing you actually see before you quickly scroll over to the game that you want to play. So what happens is Johnny Boy has a PS5, that's his main console, but he gets a Series X or S to play Starfield. Hops on Starfield, has a blast. But he's not just having a blast with Starfield. He is on a daily basis logging into Xbox, into the ecosystem, interacting with that ecosystem, and then going to Starfield. One of these days, he'll be like, I'm not feeling Starfield today. But let me see that ad for Avowed that keeps popping up. Next thing you know, oh, Avowed looks nice. And then Game Pass suggests playing some Skyrim before you get into Avowed, or suggest playing whatever new game is on Game Pass. Boom. Next thing, this person is now investing into the Xbox ecosystem, even if they come back to the PS ecosystem. This is a person who only had the PS ecosystem in their life and only played on PS. Now they have an Xbox. Now they have to divide time because nowadays it's not about just sales, it's about timeshare. That's why you have your Hulu's, Netflix, and Game Pass, and even Valve is doing their own subscription for the Oculus. What happens is these companies are out here trying to fight for people's time. They're not just trying to fight for your money. They want your time first, because they know that once you give them the time, then they can sell you stuff. So once you give Xbox the time of you turning on the Xbox controller and then navigating their menu, they can now sell you stuff. And once you start buying, the same way you bought into the PlayStation ecosystem, you start buying into the Xbox ecosystem. Worst case scenario, you become a 50-50 guy and you're on both sides. Best case scenario, you figure out that Game Pass is superior to PS Plus and it's curtains. That's the real concern as far as Sony's concerned. They have to keep it going. They have to put the pressure on the CMA. I don't know how the CMA is gonna figure out this whole cloud gaming thing because it's not looking good. Just got deconstructed here by the witness from Stadia that this is an industry that's still starting, and you can't base an entire argument on the gaming industry as a whole by focusing on cloud, which is like 10%, and even that 10%, it's still in the early phase. Um, Boogie says, "Wow, Boogie has 745 games on Xbox.
I believe
That's
it.
wild. I don't play PC games much. The games I play on PC are turn-based strategy or RTS games. Lord, 745 games. Everything else I'd rather play on big screen TV. Hey man, God bless. That's a lot of games. Jesus. All right. So Ham, did you listen to my little soliloquy? Did it make any sense to you
I wasn't
about
able to
how
because I
the
was helping my
shift?
daughter.
Okay, essentially, uh, m- th- my argument is that the shift will be slow, and what PlayStation wants is for people to not even have
What
any
number are you on?
motivation. No, I'm still on the percentage but of players that could migrate to Xbox.
Okay, so you're still on
My
13.
theory, yeah, my theory is that the concern from PlayStation is that when people hop on Xbox, you don't just hop on and then straight into Starfield. You hop on, then you got that big main menu and there's ads. for Game Pass. What's new on Game Pass, etc., etc. Starfield is a forever game. You will play it for three, 3+ months for you to even finish the damn thing. So what's happening during those 3+ months? Ham Solo that only plays on PlayStation is hopping on Xbox like, oh, let me play Starfield. But those 3 seconds, dude, those 3 seconds that you see that little ad and then you hop on Starfield, you still gave Xbox your time. Mentally, your brain has made that mental note, whether conscious or unconscious, right? Now imagine hopping on Xbox every single day for 3 to 6 months. When you're finished with Starfield, you're still gonna be like, let me just see what's on Xbox. And this is a reality that was not available to the people that were PlayStation mains. You understand what I'm saying? Now, PlayStation is like, most of our players or half of our players will now be like half of their minds are thinking, what's on Xbox right now? Let me go check. You know what I mean? And just that is a dub for Xbox.
Right.
That's my theory on how the transition could work.
And see, I think that's what they don't like, in my opinion, altogether. It's not the like we're done. We're not going to be able to
Exclusives.
sell PS5s. It's not like, it's not that, oh, Xbox is going to catch up to us this generation or we're screwed. It's now the time is split amongst what was completely in their face before and now what's kind of, maybe the split is 60-40 PlayStation to Xbox. You got 60%, but before it was 100% on PlayStation.
Or 90-10.
Yeah, or something like that. And that could really go to bother PlayStation quite a bit when it comes to their platform. And then on top of that, Xbox's ecosystem to keep you dialed in. So PlayStation is trying to do that with like the cloud, or like not the cloud, but the what is that thing called? The Q Lite. But the Q Lite
Oh god.
isn't really exactly, it's not
Such a
cloud,
waste of plastic.
it's remote play. And you absolutely need internet. I think you have to be even on like, I don't know, that's probably not true. You probably don't have to be on the same Wi-Fi as it, but you have to have
No,
solid
no.
internet to be able to run it, right? And
On both
and the
ends.
weird thing for that is you can do it on your phone as well. So it's like PlayStation does have the ability to be able to be outside of the actual console itself, but it's just different. Like, especially with the amount of choice that you have on Xbox versus PlayStation. PlayStation, you have the choice of whatever you own or at least have downloaded, which for Xbox, you can play a game that's not downloaded at all on that device.
Yeah.
So like I said, the interest may be tailored or maybe more or less interesting for Xbox than it is for Sony. And if you're now introducing that ecosystem into the living room, right next to PlayStation, I could see how just having to bounce back and forth between those would make those that work at PlayStation not too happy that they are now in and this is the part that's funny. They are really actually now in competition, and that's what they fear. Because I feel like that's what this whole thing is about with
Look, I'd be
Activision
afraid too.
and Blizzard and Bethesda and where's my Starfield? I thought we could get that too, kind of stuff. Like the whole problem with everything like this, and I even heard Jim Ryan say it earlier. They asked him about Starfield and if he was thinking like if it's unfair or something like that. And he said, I don't like it, but it's not unfair. And the reason he said that is because he's been doing it this entire time. So he's going to say that he doesn't like not being able to get a title that would be nice, but it's not
He's
unfair
been doing
because we've
worse.
been dog walking Xbox with this exact same mentality. So if I were to say that I don't like it, it's not fair, then I'd be giving up myself and saying that I need to change
I'm
my
not being fair.
actions. Exactly. So I thought that was really telling that he was honest about, I don't really like it, but it's still fair without saying that he does that exact same thing. Um,
I think he should have said it's not fair. I think he should have said it's not fair. You know why?
that would discredit a ton of what he said.
Sure. But I think he should have said it's not fair because clearly Xbox are taking off the gloves and they want to go the full like 10 rounds or whatever, right? The strategy that Sony was using was fine for that time. They need to switch it up because if if the idea is to continue down this path, then they can't keep up with Microsoft because of the finances. I'm not saying Sony is broke like a lot of people like to say. They're not broke, right? The same way LeBron's not a bad player. The problem is when you put Sony next to Microsoft, it's not fair. Do you understand? So, in
I
my
mean, I
opinion, Sony
understand in the
should have
sense that it's
recognized.
not fair pocket wise, but like as for you cornered me into making these decisions that I wasn't priorly making, I was competing with you prior to these decisions being made. You make it hard for me to attain these games. Going as far as paying for something like Call of Duty up front to the point that Xbox now needs to pay part of your portion to even get it onto their console. You know what I'm saying? Like Xbox tried. Everyone's out here saying Xbox needs to try or needs to do or play the game the way it needs to be played. And it's like, bro, they did. They did try. Look how easy they're able to get Eastern games or Asian or Japanese games onto their console. Not very easy. They're having a hard time with Activision getting their games onto their console, and they're in America. They're in America. Imagine going somewhere where Xbox has nowhere near the lead and saying, I want to get that onto my console and I want to pay the same price as that, even though we may not sell as many. They're like, you know what? You can have it. But after a year of exclusivity to PlayStation, yeah, then you can have it. Or no, you can't even have it at all. Final Fantasy, for instance. Like, you can have our past games, but oh, you want something new? Nah. As a matter of fact, we'll stick it with a maybe, but you'll never know when.
Oh my god! Just so it hurts even more, even more. Just a little bit
Exactly.
more.
I mean, I mean, which one sucks more? Your dad saying that he's gonna come pick you up this weekend and then not coming, or him just not saying anything at all and you just leaving it up to, oh man, he ain't coming. He probably ain't coming. I'd
Probably,
rather
but you're
almost
still
not
gonna
even
wait.
know that he was even planning on trying to come
You-
instead of him
Yeah,
telling me that, yo, there's an opportunity I might be rolling up, but I don't know what time. So you sitting there until 1 a.m. in
on
the
the front
morning.
porch, just
I'm just saying,
waiting.
you just sitting there with your
Sad
backpack
little
and just
thing.
sitting there on the curb,
Oh,
just sitting, just leaning back and forth, waiting to see them headlights of a vehicle that you recognize. But it ain't coming.
damn. That was a very sad story that you're sharing, and
That's how
let's read
people
the
feel.
chat, okay? Let's liven up the mood. Boogeyman says Sony pushed Microsoft until Microsoft said enough is enough. We ain't turning the other cheek no more. Then Sony was like, wait, 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 this isn't fair. You're doing too much. This is starting to hurt.
Exactly.
Uh,
And it's like, what do you want? What do you want? Like you
I want to win.
you're
That's what
telling
I
us that we need to do or Sony is actually really just telling Xbox or Microsoft to get the hell out of the way. right? But what they're
Yes.
making it seem like to the fans and everything like that is that Xbox is inefficient or unable. When in reality, they never really got given a chance in some aspects, or the chance that was given was such a ripoff that it was just like, why do we even bother trying? So I mean, I'm more interested now more than ever to figure out what happened with like some of these deals that we thought could have went through. We already know about the mess that was that was what was that game that Platinum was supposed to be making for Xbox One.
Uh, the dragon one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we
I
already
forgot
know
that one.
about we already know about how that went down and how play or Xbox was supposed to be having them work on the game and they ended up working on like Near Automata.
Mm.
And that ends up going to PlayStation. And Xbox is sitting there
Ah,
waiting and Scalebound. Thank you, Boogeyman. Scalebound.
yeah, Scalebound.
Yep, the kid's waiting at the curb again, but daddy's not coming.
Goddamn. Boogie says I'm damn near 40. My dad still misses calling on my birthday. Damn. He called me the day after I was like, it is what it is. I'm used to it. Jesus.
Jeez.
Yo,
Whoops, I made this
appreciate
podcast
you
depressing.
sharing. Yeah, yeah. I was trying to go to the chat so we could laugh some, but damn.
Well, you laughed.
Um, oh Lord. Okay, let's go to dude. It's not. I'm not laughing at you, Boogie. I swear,
I
I'm not
don't think
laughing
he
at you.
thinks you are. Relax.
Florian Mueller says, "What these past few minutes of the recorded into." So this is number
Number
17.
17, okay. We
17.
need to get moving on this
What these,
because he's already at like 100.
dude, what these past few minutes of the recorded interview show is that the FTC realized in April that Ryan's I just want to block your merger statement on the day of the EU hearing could be used against the FTC in court, showing that Sony wasn't constructive. So now they're trying to make an argument that the omission of Overwatch 2 from a proposed Microsoft Sony agreement was reason for Sony to remain concerned, even though even Ryan has now confirmed there was no concern about COD being available at that point. What the FTC is trying to do here with this videotape deposition can be described as shifting stand positions, which is trying to de-emphasize COD, making it more of an all ABK titles, including Overwatch 2 story, and trying to explain away Ryan's internal email and Brussels statement. So what we're still seeing here on day 3 is a weak FTC that is not making headway, cannot present a smoking gun or compelling theory of harm. The FTC would actually have to make a strong showing to get an injunction, and what we hear falls short of what the FTC needs. Lord in heaven. Ham Solo, is this over?
Uh, not even close. Keep going, bud.
Okay. Uh It appears that after the original questions, we now hear Microsoft counsel Beth Wilkinson interviewing Jim Ryan. That's why the questions focus more on the contradictions between his statements at different times. The problem is that we just see Ryan on the screen, we don't see the interviewer, only hear her, and the FTC interviewer was female too, but the questions over the past few minutes have been noticeably tougher, no more softballs thrown at him. Ryan said internally that Bungie could give Sony more than 69 billion acquisition of ABK would give Microsoft. Ryan now says this is because of Bungie's specific skills. Microsoft in Xbox's interest to keep Activision games available on multiple platforms. Ryan, no. Then doesn't like to then doesn't like to answer a hypothetical question of what he'd do if in charge of Xbox. Damn, Ryan is salty. Ryan at some point was extremely confident that COD would remain on their platform. Microsoft lawyer getting back to Ryan's January 2022 email with the "will be okay, more than okay," now tries to downplay importance of email because it was within 24 hours of announcement of transaction. The man has been in the industry for decades, though. Ryan says,
Let me
as
know if
of
you
the
need a
interview,
break.
April this year, he had significant concerns. Let me know if you want to interject as to the continued availability of COD and the other Activision titles for the PlayStation. Ryan ultimately, though he tried to avoid it, had to acknowledge that first party titles accounted during a certain period for 15%. Jesus Christ! First party titles accounted during a certain period for 15%. Oh, Lord. I'm Solo, we cannot just brush over this. 15%? I can't keep reading after 15%. We have to address this, Ham Solo.
Go ahead and kick it off. I want to hear why you're so flustered.
Because all I ever hear is PlayStation is the king of first party games. Tired of reading and hearing about it. Excuse me. I have a flu. 15%. Ham Solo. This is ridiculous and it's embarrassing.
It's a
I
third
don't
party
ever want to
machine.
hear. I don't want to hear. Oh, I can't even get pissed off at that statement.
Well, the thing is both of these
15%.
consoles are third party machines. PC is the biggest third party machine of them all.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
But the
So like
problem is
everyone,
from the
and
three
I see what you're
platforms you just
saying.
brought up,
I see what
from
you're
the
saying.
three
The
platforms
community
you brought
loves
up,
to use it as
only
an
one. Yes.
yeah, the
Go ahead.
community
Finish
loves
your
to
point.
say that first party games is what like drives one thing or another. You know, there is some truth to that statement. You may buy a PlayStation because it has God of War or Horizon or Spider-Man or whatnot, but you're probably not going to spend the most money on PlayStation titles. Although you bought it for that game, right? So I'm saying I'm keeping that same energy with Xbox as well. You may purchase an
For Halo.
Xbox for Halo, for Starfield, for Redfall, head scratcher. But you're probably going to drop more money on third party titles, sales, things that are going on. Grand Theft Auto, when that comes out, I'm sure everyone's going to pick that up. A new Red Dead comes out, everyone wants to pick that up. Dead Space, Madden, FIFA, Call of, or I got to be careful saying Call of Duty because that might be gone.
Yep, that might be
But
gone just now.
but Battlefield and such, right?
Mm.
The big title like God like God of War or Starfield or something like that may get somebody into the ecosystem is not exactly what sometimes keeps them in the ecosystem. So third party is way more important than first party games. First party game is like the first party games is like the it's like kind of the appetizer that gets you in there because there's way more third party options after you look past the first party titles. You can say that about anybody that has a device pretty much except maybe Nintendo. Nintendo's the
Yeah.
only ones that
Nintendo.
I know that reach in their own bag repeatedly to make games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
PlayStation and Xbox both do their best to get games out, but lean heavily on third party content. Heavily. It's where majority of the money is made from. So it's just interesting. That's all I really have to say about it. Look.
This is embarrassing. Anyway, Ryan said we're at number 28. Ryan said he talked to all publishers. This sounds like a
This is
lie.
interesting right here. This is crazy.
There are hundreds, maybe thousands of publishers. I don't know. But Ryan said he talked to all publishers, all of them, not most, all of them. And they unanimously do not like Game Pass because it is value destructive. So here we have the topic of Sony preferring to maintain its profit margins. PS fans should see that Sony's interests and theirs are not identical. I want to point this out, Ham Solo.
It's weird to hear that because they put Stray on their day and date, Chia on their day and date, Destruction All Stars on their day and date. So I feel like what he's saying is that games that come out day and date for PlayStation are garbage.
Crap, yes. Yes. Essentially, that's what it sounds like. Far Cry, oh my God. Listen. These guys don't care about us. When he says unanimously they are value destructive, that means they benefit the consumer more than they benefit them. It's as simple as that. And for me, until I am getting paid for by one of these guys, I will always be on my side, and my side currently is on the consumer side. This is so wrong. One, all publishers, Jim Ryan, you're gonna have to prove to me that you spoke to all of them, including the publishers in Nigeria. I want to see proof. I want to see it. All right, and then unanimously do not like Game Pass. I also want to see proof of that. I want to see it. Otherwise, this is the same as he's capping as much as those guys in the spaces at this point. No evidence. Carrying on, number 29. Microsoft's lawyers' cross-examination has been going on for some time now, and Ryan is increasingly uncomfortable. That's what we can see here on the screen, based on mimics and the fact he sometimes moves one or both hands towards his chin. He isn't enjoying this at all. Okay. Publishers are fully incentivized to publish on PlayStation platforms. Ryan, between 2025 and 2035, cloud gaming will become meaningful component, but neither he nor anyone in the world can predict exactly when. Thank you very much.
So I'm gonna stop you right there.
Thank you. Yes.
Like, so this whole case is pointless then.
Yes. The entire thing is useless.
It's useless. This is the reason behind the case in the CMA for the CMA. And they can't even tell you within a couple years. They put a 10-year gap on it and said anything can go in these thousands of days. Anything could happen. Like, what kind of forecasting is that?
What kind of logic is that?
You know how many crazy conspiracies I've heard throughout the time of my life that have been told in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. One of the world's biggest conspiracies was Y2K. How about that? Everyone was so sure about that, right? Clock turns midnight on Y2K. Electricity's gone.
Nothing happened.
I'm sitting there watching the then the New York the New York New Year's New Year's saying,
We all saw it, dude.
"Oh snap! It's
What is it?
12:01 and I'm still watching TV. Oh crap! It's
12:05.
1 a.m. over there. It's 1 a.m. over there, which means it's midnight here. Nothing still happened. Oh, let me go. Man, I remember they had me. They had everybody so worried. Everybody was turning off their PCs, disconnecting
Times
the
Square.
internet,
Times Square. Yeah, it was Times Square. Everyone was staring at Times Square.
bro. Nothing happened, and this was a projection that everybody in the world was riding with. So you're gonna tell me that something as minuscule as this, and then you're gonna give me a
Vague. This
10
is very
year,
vague.
and then you're gonna give me a vague 10-year 10-year schedule of if a possibility, while keep in mind while they're working on a cloud infrastructure of their own.
Do you want the icing on the cake? You
Go
want the
ahead.
icing? You were worried about between 2025 and 2035, right? If you continue his statement, he said neither he nor anyone in the world can predict exactly when. So he's even leaving it open to start in 2040. But until that happens, Microsoft don't buy anyone. Seriously. That's what we're doing right now.
That's
It's
some serious guessing.
We can all guess, but you can't tie people's hands based off of your guess, bro. That's crazy.
My
That's crazy.
goodness.
Boogie says it's not logic, it's theoreticals and hypotheticals, but it was
Exactly.
logical for him to waste thousands of dollars jet setting around the world talking to all these foreign trade commissions claiming it. Yo, this guy, Boogie on fire today.
Yeah, y'all hit that
Uh,
like button and subscribe if you
yeah.
new.
Like, subscribe if you're having a good time. DJ Birdo says, "What about the 2012 end of the world?" Exactly, the
Yeah,
2012 end of the world is as
there
well.
is that as well. I mean, there's so
Have
many conspiracies that's happened throughout the world that just never happen.
have
Within government, within okay, continue. My bad.
for me the last point on this one is we don't even know how viable cloud gaming really is. Because remember, VR was supposed to take off not now, but back in the day with the Nintendo. Was it a Nintendo or was it Sega? That I think it was a Jaguar or something that you put on your face, and all games were going to be augmented reality or some form of VR. And that shit crashed and burned.
Yeah,
I'm not
they
saying
had
that's
those
what's
shitty
about to
ones that you
happen.
put your phone into that you look and it looked
Yes,
terrible.
exactly. I'm not saying that's what's about to happen now. I'm just saying when it comes to these technological trends and predictions and all this stuff, um, uh, more often than not, they fail. Everyone's super optimistic. If you doubt me, just Google's graveyard of tech ideas that everyone was super excited for. All of them, all of them. People were
You can do that
super
with
psyched for
Microsoft
when they
too.
got out. Microsoft have their own version. Point is, we don't even
Sony,
know
all of them.
if this thing it will still be getting pursued in 10 years. In 10 years, people might have given up on it. There's no proof. We don't know if the industry is still going to be going that direction in 10 years.
Google
So
already gave up to restructure.
exactly.
So it's just like you could think Xbox is on a roll right now. And whatchamacallit, Sarah Bond said in her statement that they had some things coming through the pipeline for Xbox Cloud that they ended up putting on hold. They completely stopped for a while.
Uh-huh.
Same thing with the Keynote thing or whatever that Project Keynote or Project whatever, that was supposed to be out already. But due to the price issues, due with some of the features that they wanted to have with the thing, they had to stop that. So what was supposed to and what was advertised, I believe, at the end of 2021, when Forza and stuff came out, was we're going to see a lot more cloud stuff. And we haven't seen a ton more other than some games being added to xCloud and stuff like that. So it's exactly what you're saying. And it's exactly kind of what Jim Ryan said as well, where it's just like this
Oh, I
has
don't
the
know.
potential to being big, but who freaking knows when?
But based on this potential, based on this potential outcome, let us take a very serious stand against the acquisition of it of a the 69 billion acquisition. Based
Facts.
on this hypothetical scenario that we are all super capitalistically dreaming about, because this will make us even more bank, because cloud gaming is where it's going to be in terms of money, because now you remove the platforms, people don't have to buy PlayStations, they don't have to buy Xboxes, they can just open a browser which everyone has and just play and just buy games off of there. And then you don't have the excuse of now you have to make discs and all that. Then you can justify never actually giving the customer the product and just giving them temporary access to the product. That's why everyone is super thirsty about cloud. But there's no guarantee it's going to actually work out. Because even if it works, ladies and gentlemen, if the community doesn't take, it'll die. That's one thing no one wants to discuss. We all just say, oh, it's convenient. Sure, it is convenient, but there's no guarantee that everyone's going to hop on this bandwagon. Back
Exactly.
from the Dead says Virtual Boy wasn't that bad.
Okay.
It was terrible, dude. It was terrible,
It
bro.
wasn't. It
Come on,
had the red
cut,
lines,
cut.
bro. That was rough.
It was all red, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, let's stop speaking Japanese and move on. Ryan then said yes, Nintendo is in the console market, but not Sony's direct competitor.
Which is insane. Which is insane to say that. Because in the charts, VG charts or whatever, anything where they compare console sales, it's included. Everybody wants to celebrate when PlayStation beats Nintendo, when Xbox beats Nintendo. But now it's irrelevant. Now it's irrelevant. Although, look, can you ask me, is FIFA on Nintendo Switch?
Yes, it is.
Is
Madden, yes.
is there multiple games within other platforms that are on the Switch that they share between each other?
Thousands.
If I'm playing FIFA on the Switch, am I taking away the ability to play it on the PlayStation or Xbox? Call it what you want graphically. I mean, we're getting into this really weird situation of the weeds. What are we going to start comparing people that are playing in quality mode versus resolution? What are we doing? They take PC out of the mix. They take Nintendo out of the mix. They take anything other than Xbox out of the mixes because Xbox is the problem. That's it.
Microsoft's the problem.
Yeah, Microsoft is the problem. So they literally made a situation where they could only blame that guy. They made a situation where they could only, with this shitty argument of what did I say on Twitter a little bit ago? I gotta look that up real quick. with a shitty argument that and I said it myself, saying high hypothetical monopolist test high performance console market versus low performance console markets. What? So let's go ahead and take Xbox out of the mix. Okay? Let's do that just for fun. Now let's put Nintendo there and say that they bought Activision and are doing the exact same thing as Xbox is doing. They're willing to work on it and then give y'all whatever. And you in Xbox, PlayStation, Luna, PC, they can all eat off of what Nintendo just got done providing. Are they not competition anymore? You see what I'm saying? You made this BS argument to support this specific problem you have with this specific company. You're not talking about the whole industry like you keep preaching to be talking about. You're not talking about the whole industry at all because you done narrowed it down so hard that it's only 1v1 when in reality it's not. It's just, I don't buy it. When I hear you read that statement that they're not in direct competition, I'm just like, what? When you kicked off PlayStation in 1994, were you not in direct competition with Nintendo? At what point did you say, Nintendo, we good? We ain't even competing versus. I have never remember hearing that. You know what happened? PlayStation got into a comfortable lead in certain aspects, and they didn't bother talking about them anymore. But best believe if Nintendo was dog walking Sony in some of these third-party games, they'd have something to say.
Yeah.
They're part of Xbox's resolution right now. So they don't want to point at them and say that they're a problem at all. They don't want that smoke as well with Nintendo. So they're going to pretend they don't even exist. Which is mad disrespectful.
What's funny for me is the argument is they're not our direct competitor in our opinion, so we won't consider them. Okay. By that logic, Xbox can also not consider PlayStation a direct competitor and keep on going with the acquisition. We're not in the same market. If by your argument, Nintendo as a whole can be removed from the industry and the FTC and the CMA just bow their heads and like, oh, okay, if you don't consider them, they don't exist. Why is it that Xbox cannot say, oh yeah, we're not competing against Sony, so there's no problem with this acquisition?
Yeah.
Why? Because there's such a thing
Xbox
as
has
objective
said that.
reality.
Microsoft has said that. Our competition is Amazon and Google.
But no one's listening.
Said that.
But no one listened. No one listened. Why?
Yeah, nobody want to hear
because
that.
when Xbox speaks, FTC and the CMA, they're like, no. We know what objective truth is, and the objective truth is the fact, right? Not your feelings. The fact, Xbox, is that you are in competition with Nintendo. You are in competition with PlayStation. Why is it that PlayStation can say this and no one sits there and tells them that objectively speaking, they actually are in competition with Nintendo? So Nintendo's say actually matters when it comes to the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Why? Because Nintendo says it's fine. If Nintendo was against this, suddenly you would see Sony saying we are also competing against Nintendo. But the same way that Jim Ryan talks directly with Phil Spencer, he also talks directly with whoever's in charge of Nintendo, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know the person's name off the top of my head. And that person probably told Jim Ryan, "Duh, you do you, we're doing us." And he was like, "Okay, we're not gonna get their support, so how do we eliminate them? Because if they ever get called to witness or answer questions, they're just gonna be like, no, it's fine. Xbox can do their thing, and that'll count against us." They let Stadia do it because they have a wink wink agreement with Google, I guess. And based off of that, they've been very supportive of Google and Stadia giving their 2 cents on the acquisition.
Even though it backfired.
But they didn't foresee the fact that their whole argument is crap. And now they saw. Oh my god. They're not
Let's keep it
Sony's direct
moving. Let's keep
competitor.
it moving because he's already at 110 now.
Oh my god. Boogie says FTC and CMA stick their fingers in their ears and go la la la. I can't hear you, when Microsoft speaks. All right. Number 33. Ryan stated his opinion that the Nintendo audience enjoys Mario, Zelda, but not COD, but stresses it's just an opinion.
Oh my god! Why do we have to stop over each of these? Which I heard Jim Ryan say this. I heard him say this in the thing, and I was just
I'm
like,
trying to trigger you.
you know why they don't compete at all with COD? Not to say that even if they had COD, that they would take over PlayStation, but it's just like the whole Xbox situation with like Final Fantasy. You can't compete when you're not in the building.
Simple.
So yeah, of course, Nintendo fans are going to enjoy Mario, Zelda, Metroid, whatever. You know why? Because they can buy it there. You know what they can't buy there? Call of Duty. And one of the main reasons that Call of Duty fell off was the controls for the Wii, and the adaptation for the Wii was so different from the rest of the adaptations on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC that they ended up pretty much giving up on that sucker. Putting it on the Wii now, they would make it as a what do you call it? As the same as possible. Parity. They'd make it as parity as possible with the power that they have with the Switch. Now, I think
all the way down.
I think personally, Call of Duty isn't going to see its way on the Nintendo probably until the next console from Nintendo. That's what I personally think. But that's a different conversation.
Yeah, I disagree. If Microsoft were to acquire them, I could see them being messy and being like, "Yo, let's pay to figure out how to port the latest COD onto the Switch, even if it looks rough." I could see Microsoft being like,
I mean,
"No, we need to get this done."
I mean, they got plenty of other games to work on the Switch. Some high quality games like Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy they got on there. I mean, they got the internet. They got the internet, but they don't have the same infrastructure as like PlayStation or Xbox, where you got to like talk to people through your phone pretty much. But they do have multiplayer available on there, and I think you could totally get something like Call of Duty running on it. It just would be. I'm just wondering how.
It'd be rough.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm just not sure how that would turn out. I think in my opinion, they'll have to do a lot of internal testing before rolling this out at all, just to see how parity it would. But yeah, it'll sell crazy, right?
Like a mother. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It'll do numbers.
Especially if you can turn on, especially if there's a toggle button for crossplay on or off.
Oh yeah.
That thing will sell.
Just imagine.
They might be a little salty about those Splatoon numbers after that happens. They might be.
Might be, just a little bit. Boogeyman says, "I'm gonna be messy for a minute. Microsoft should just buy Sony and fire Jim for wasting money on foolish trips with hypothetical logic." COD works on mobile, just upgraded and ported to Switch. Okay. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
Yep, that's true.
34. 34. Confirmed that various titles are AAA, including Final Fantasy 16, and that is a title where Sony foreclosed Xbox. They're done showing excerpts from Ryan video deposition. Like on previous days, FTC not achieving anything, Microsoft poking ever more holes into the FTC's argument. FTC called its economic expert Robin Lee. His original testimony is already in the record. Now, 5-minute break. Then Lee will be cross-examined by Microsoft. Lee wearing a mask. First witness to do so. I don't mean it negatively. I've sometimes been only one to wear a mask. I'll be wearing a mask to work tomorrow because I have the flu. So, during the break, some people are standing, including Phil Spencer, is wearing a blue tie again. Microsoft lawyer Beth Wilkinson now cross-examining Robin Lee. Robin Lee says he found two potential console markets, a high-performance console market, but also a broader one that includes market. Microsoft asks him whether his modeling included Nintendo for COD. He did not consider Nintendo because game is not available on that platform. To your point, Ham Solo.
There you go.
Continuing. Microsoft now asking him which market he thinks is the proper one to consider. Lee is being evasive. Purpose is to
Very
highlight.
evasive. I listened to that part closely, and I was just like, "Man's dodging everything under the sun." As soon as those clouds go under that sun, he is running to the next tree.
Oh, wow.
It was
Hell of an
rough.
analogy there. Purpose is to highlight anti-competitive effects, says he found multiple harms. Lee concedes some Switch PS5 substitution, but continues to be evasive. Instead of answering yes, no, he likes to just explain why he looked at multiple alternative markets.
Yes.
Microsoft asks him whether Lee considered what Sony had said about Nintendo being a principal rival or close competitor, and asks about a specific statement about Switch. Lee then says rival means many things. Lee is just being evasive, which won't help the FTC. Oh, God.
It was rough. It was like just such a long circle of just like, I got a yes or no question for you, and then it would just not be that for like
It would just
3
fall
minutes.
apart.
And then the lawyer would be like, "Now, I didn't really get an answer. I want a simple answer, yes or no." And then he would go in
And then you
another
do it
circle.
all over
Yeah,
again.
and it was just like, I see what you're doing. You don't want to answer the question.
Okay. He was essentially Loke 7. Okay. Microsoft is now getting to submission to regulators made by Sony in connection with its acquisition of Bungie. Lee previously had to confirm that he would assume such regulatory filings to be accurate. So in that filing in the UK, Sony apparently said that Xbox and Switch were the principal rivals. Microsoft asking Lee whether he considered that, says he doesn't recall this document but has seen such documents. I can't read this stupidity. I
Read it
can't
one
do
more
it.
time because I need to rehear that. I wasn't even paying attention.
Okay, so in that filing in the UK, Sony apparently said that Xbox and Switch were the principal rivals. Microsoft asking Lee whether he considered that. He then says he doesn't recall this document, but has seen such documents.
That
Bro,
literally the last 7-8
what are
words,
you doing?
maybe 10 words,
What?
was like so contradicting. Says he doesn't recall this document, but has seen such documents. That's like saying I didn't see the car accident, but I witnessed it in passing. It's like, well, what does that mean? It's like, what the hell does that mean?
I need you to pick a lane. That's what I need. I need this guy to figure out what. Oh, excuse me. Damn. I need him to figure out what he wants to say, because you can't say these things, right? And then just think people are going to pretend like, oh no, you didn't. He didn't say anything wrong. What? I'm having a brain freeze trying to make sense of this. Says he doesn't recall the document, but has seen such documents. I mean, Ham Solo, this is
It's stupid.
wow. Wow. Let's move on, because this is embarrassing for the FTC at this point. Back from the Dead says, Judge, I saw it, but don't question me about it. Yeah, okay. That's a nice little breakdown. Yeah, at
Right.
least that
That's
was
perfect.
funnier. That was funny. The Lee guy, he's just dumb. Anyway, Lee says, I do not challenge the accuracy of that filing. Instead of answering questions, Lee provides explanations. He comes across as evasive, defensive, and insecure.
Yep.
With
He
how
sure
Lee,
did.
with how Lee has performed so far in this cross-examination, there is an increasing possibility of his testimony being declared unreliable by the court. Okay, Microsoft lawyer now asking question about Lee's methodology. Lee says COD not essential in terms of required to produce a viable product in the console market. Lee says he did look at other games, but then being evasive again when the questions about specific titles like FIFA and Madden. Lee's now ducking the question of whether he considered non-Activision titles.
Is Madden
Microsoft,
on? Hold on. Is Madden on Switch?
yes.
Oh my god.
Most of the EA
Keep it
games are
moving.
on Switch.
I mean, that's just
Yes.
like that's just something I never thought of playing Madden on the Switch. Never even seen it, to be honest,
Yeah.
because I just don't even think about sports games when it comes to the
People make
Switch.
fun of it. People even make fun of the EA sports titles like the NBA Live and all that.
Hey, but Lo, can
The
you answer?
fact
Can you
that,
riddle me this or answer me this question? Do they sell?
well, yes.
Do they sell well?
Oh,
Is a better question.
hold on. Madden is not on Switch. Just want to make a correction.
Okay.
It has never been on Switch. It's been on the previous Nintendo games, not Switch.
Okay. So it was on the
Uh,
Wii and maybe Wii
FIFA,
U, but okay.
yeah. FIFA
I know FIFA
FIFA
is.
does sell like
It was
hotcakes.
a big
It does
deal. It
sell.
was a big deal when it came to Switch. I remember that.
But if you play the games, it's shit. It's rubbish. They essentially change like the players. They don't change the kits. They don't change the jerseys on FIFA. But anyway, Silent Cipher comes in with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Says I didn't eat the Cheetos, but I threw away the wrapper. Okay, so the Lee analogies keep coming through. Thank you guys for sticking through this stupidity with us.
Silent Cypher.
This is
That was
mental
silly.
poison. This Lee guy, he
Mental
is
poison.
mental poison. I swear we've lost like 2 or 3 like IQ points just reading this rubbish. Anyway, Lee is now ducking the question of whether he considered non-Activision titles. Microsoft lawyer gets back to whether he included in his analysis specific games like FIFA and Madden. Without looking at his initial report, Lee can't say whether he considered Madden. His performance continues to be very weak. I'm sure this is not the first time Lee has put forward a weak performance. All right. Anyway, moving on. Microsoft referring to his initial model, according to which Lee said 8.9% of PlayStation COD gamers would switch to Xbox. Judge Corley now asking Lee whether the share model increase of market share due to migration was based on the high performance console market. Lee can't deny it. Why doesn't this guy just answer the freaking question? Jeez. Lee has to concede that he used data from Generation 8 consoles, not yet Series X or S. Microsoft lawyer says that in his model, Lee took the data from the older version and then applied it to share shift for current generation. Lee disagrees and tries to explain away. What Microsoft's lawyer is achieving here is that Lee's analysis, in quotes, is being exposed as amounting to nothing more than his opinion. He uses the word opinion in many of his replies. A mere opinion, however, is not going to be a basis for blocking a merger. Ham Solo, you want to come in here real quick, or are you good?
The only thing I want to come in and say real quick is like it just felt like I said, it was just a bunch of just nothing. It was a whole lot of nothing going on. I was listening to it, and I think eventually I had you listening to it as well.
Yes, yes.
And it was just nothing happening. Just a lot of here's a question, yes or no. And the guy's like, instead of giving you a yes or no answer, I'm going to elaborate on it for 3 minutes. And then you're going to re ask me that same question. And then I'm going to give you a shoulder shrug. And we're going to move on to the next question. I don't know. That's what it seemed like. I don't know. Oh, crap. You're exposing me. I'm going to pretend I didn't see it. Like, what? Continue.
This whole thing about opinions, this whole thing about him putting forth more of his opinion rather than facts from an actual analysis that he made. This is very bad for Sony or for the FTC, because just like Florian Mueller shared, the merger, no merger is going to get blocked because of opinions. You cannot measure whose opinion has more weight. What you need is data, empirical data to put forward. If all you have is feelings and opinions, that's good enough to convince Twitter or the Bud Light executives. All right? That's not good enough for a court case. All right?
In 3 years, this thing could be profitable or really move the needle within 10 years of that 3 years later. Like what is happening?
Where is your data to back up what you're saying? Oh, that's just my personal opinion.
I think I don't know who particularly said it, but I think that somebody said like the VR market is supposed to be like 294 million or some crazy big jump by like the end of the 2020s. And I tell you what, it's not doing that so far.
I want to see that. I want to see it.
I mean, there could be a large boom, but I think it'd have to be like super duper affordable. Subscription service would have to be a big deal on a headset like that, because I'll tell you from myself, when I first got my Oculus headset, there was some games that I bought, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know. I'm a gamer. I'm a person that has no problem buying games.
And you were lost.
And I was like, I understand how to navigate and get around, but I don't know if I'm gonna like these games. I don't know if I'm gonna be interested in any of this stuff. And sure, I gotta buy to figure it out. Sure, that's the classic way. But let's also remember, I grew up during the time where Blockbuster was a thing. I could rent things. I could try before I buy. You can't do that with VR right now. And that's one of the big things, in my opinion, that kind of holds the VR back, is its inability to have sufficient trials for you to make sure that what you got is worth it. I mean, because when I bought it, I was super basic. I got like, what is it? Awesome. But anyways, yeah, when I got it, I got very specific games like Beat Saber, Super Hot. I got basic games. When I like what I like about my PlayStation and my Xbox is I can kind of dig deep, or better yet, they have trials in game demos for a lot more than what VR has. I would have never knew about Scarlet Nexus and how dope that game was without the
Oh
demo
yeah.
to it.
Yep. Scarlet Nexus is amazing.
Because I'm not into those type of genre of games. But once I turned that sucker on, I was like, "Yo, this is nice."
Yep.
So
Yep.
I mean, the VR just has to do that, and it has to do that in a way. And I know that they're doing that. We actually talked about it, I believe, yesterday on the show that Oculus or Meta, whatever, is working on getting a subscription service plan.
Subscription.
Hmm.
Yes. And they're gonna give 2 games per month.
That's
That's a
amazing.
good shit. Yeah. It's the way forward, dude. Silent Cipher said no, I won't be reading that Silent Cipher. I was not alluding to that. Big Mad Mo, Fist is actually not bad. Enjoying it. Go for it, bruv. It looks like a nice one. I would like to make time for it one day. Not gonna lie. Right now, no space. Moving on with 55. Microsoft for partial closure. You did not do an economic analysis modeling. Lee, I did not predict the share change arising from partial foreclosure strategy. Degraded content, i.e., COD performing worse on PS and Xbox, was not analyzed as part of Lee's share model. Real quick, the next COD, if this thing goes through, will definitely be degraded. Why? Because Jim Ryan says he wouldn't give the devs access to the PS6. Okay, talk about cutting your nose off to spite your face. What are you doing? Anyway, Microsoft lawyer not
I'll be
now
right back.
using
Look,
a
continue.
flip chart. Sure. Microsoft lawyer now using a flip chart to write things down and make sure there is no misunderstanding concerning Lee's 2 models. The first one, he owns a share model. The other one is a foreclosure model. Lee's foreclosure model uses global data. Share model uses UIS data. Interesting that he uses global data for one model, given that the FTC wants a US only market definition. We'll see whether that means something for this case. Lee must concede he has no quantitative model for subscription services or cloud gaming. No share shift percentage for both models. For for a scenario of partial COD foreclosure, he focused only on total foreclosure. Antitrust defendants always identify some types of analysis that a plaintiff's economic expert did not perform. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Here it does appear very relevant because the total foreclosure is not going to be deemed a realistic scenario by the court. So Lee put it an assumption of 20% of COD gamers, some who have a console and some who may buy one, getting an Xbox in a foreclosure scenario. This means the 20% figure is not the result of a model. He says he has support for it, but it's not the result of a model. It's so many opinions. You could have put me on the stand. I also have opinions of what would happen if this thing foreclosed. I have the same amount of insight as this Lee dude at this point. All right? No
Oh
cap.
my god!
I'm
Look,
just saying. Listen,
this is
listen
what
to
I
what
come
he's
back
saying.
to.
He has no proof of anything. Anything. He's just spitballing. He's Donald Trumping it. And oh Lord. Uh Silent Cypher laughing his ass off here in the chat. Uh Boogie says so Lee did next to no research
I'm
because
telling you.
actual research would not support these arguments that they could use in courts.
I told you,
I don't
Loke.
know.
I told you
Yeah,
earlier. He
yeah.
told his mama he studied. He told his
And he
teacher he
got a D.
studied,
He got an
but he
F.
still
He didn't
got
get a D.
yeah, he did get a D, he
He
got an
got an F.
F.
Th- this looks like an F to me. I'm sorry. You said D a couple of times. The
I
more we
did.
read, I'm like, nah, this is not a D, dog. This is not a D. Let's carry on with this foolishness. Now, Lee actually just confirmed that gamers may play COD on a PC if it's unavailable for their console. They're not discussing market definition now, but I wonder whether Microsoft's lawyers will also point out that in the
What
market
number are you on?
63.
Oh, okay.
Microsoft lawyers will also point to that in the market definition context. Um, Microsoft lawyer asked Lee whether his foreclosure model is based on a different world than the share model. Lee acknowledges different data. Funny situation. After Judge Corley asks him whether a certain number Lee came up with is 3.4%, he said, I agree with your honor. Everyone laughs. Microsoft lawyer, that's not a that's not a good move on your part. Oh God. Dude, when people are losing their straight faces, okay? We're dealing with a very serious issue. When people start laughing in unison, right? When the whole
I don't know if any of you guys in the chat or maybe you, Loke, have ever seen an episode of Judge Judy or an episode of Judge Joe Brown or just any court TV show where when the whole audience laughs, someone is extremely embarrassed.
something terrible just happened.
Either something terrible just happened or the most unexpected joke just happened. In this case, it was both. It was a joke and it was embarrassing.
Dude, if this was a boxing match, right? If this was a boxing match, Mike Tyson is wailing on his opponent and the ref is not getting in between them. The opponent is on the mat, unconscious. Their mouth guard is on the other side of the ring. Tyson has already
Hammer
removed his
fist.
gloves. He's removed his gloves. He's going full knuckle. And the ref is having some coffee in the corner.
Off the
This is
turnbuckle.
Louis Frag. Welcome in, Louis Frag. Louis Frag says this is an absolute joke. The FTC is finished, period. FTC is finished, but Microsoft's not finished with the FTC. They're like, come here. I'm not done with you. Come here.
We give you some facts.
Boogeyman, my opinion is that actual research would have actually hurt our argument. That is the merger. I bad. Is bad, said Lee. Yeah, probably. Rachie says, wow, this episode is a 3-hour candy. Thank you for the stream. You're welcome, bro. You're welcome.
Yeah, this is a
Silent
special
Cypher.
episode this week, just because it
a
lands
special
on the
one.
same day as a hearing. Figured we talk about it.
Yes. Cypher having fun in the chat. Did this Lee guy snort some paint chips before taking the podium? Cypher, stop making fun of people that snort paint chips. All right. I don't know what he's doing, but it's way worse than paint chips. Gogo Post says, waste of my tax money. So sad. Boogeyman, I want a refund on my tax dollar. Damn. All right. Fark, hey, welcome in, Fark. Miss you, bruv. It's been a minute. It has been a minute. Let's carry on with this. Let's go. After the joke, we're at number 65. The issue they're talking about now is that if the assumption of a 20% conversion rate due to foreclosure was brought down to 15%, COD foreclosure would already become unprofitable for Microsoft. Microsoft lawyer, the 20% is important because if you use different numbers, you get different results. Lee can't deny that his model will produce different outputs for different inputs. We are apparently at a point now where the 20%
So he literally said
conversion
his input was static.
Yes.
What
Yes.
the fuck, man?
It-
How can you
so
guess something
okay,
static in this situation?
so it's opinions. It's I agree with you, Your Honor, and my models are not fluid. The- wow. We are apparently at a point now where the 20% conversion rate in a foreclosure scenario that Lee relies upon doesn't have much of a cushion. Go down from 20% to 15%, and the foreclosure becomes unprofitable. The 20%, however, was not derived from a specific model. Jesus, even I can do better statistics than this at work. This is embarrassing. It's
Well,
embarrassing.
let's be honest. Loki, you work in procurement, so
Yeah.
statistics is kind of your
Well,
thing.
all right, fine. Let's go to the chat real quick. Louis says, "Look, much appreciated. I'm listening in from the UK. Hey, welcome in, bruv. Fark, I'm in Idaho having a lot of fun with staying with friends. Wi-Fi been a bit crappy, so miss so many shows. Hey, man, you didn't miss the most important show. Also, Louis, smash the like button, subscribe, etc.,
Louis
etc.
is
Let's keep
subscribed.
moving.
You have to be subscribed to be in the
Oh,
chat, I believe. So
oh, crap. My bad. I forgot. My
he's
bad.
doing his thing.
Anyway, let's keep it moving. With number 68, a court obviously can't and won't block a merger if a foreclosure model heavily depends on a mere assumption of a conversion rate. Now, the lawyer points out that an Xbox internal document showed smaller shift than the one Lee assumed. Lee tries to argue that COD sells so many more copies than any other AAA titles and therefore likely leads to greater share shift. Uh, they've been they've been talking for a while about whether the YouGov survey done for the CMA case was known to Lee and whether he considered it. Without access to the report, it's difficult to follow. Judge Corley simplifies. God damn it! This thing it refreshed. Twitter, I swear.
I'll go. The Judge Corley simplifies it and asks Lee, who confirms he didn't look at the survey. Now lunch break, so you can continue after that. Look, once you get loaded in, you're at
Okay.
72.
Just overheard a risk arbitrator, I think you want to say arbitrator, telling someone over the phone that the economist Lee has done a really bad job. I would say, Lord, I would say the problem is not so much the economist's work, but that the facts just don't support the FTC. There simply is no antitrust issue here. Uh, damn,
That's
it
embarrassing.
refreshed. Yeah, yeah. For me, the issue here, what I'd like to discuss here is the facts, Ham. Do, do you agree with the fact that the facts themselves, like no preference for which console is right or wrong or whatever, just the facts. Do you think the facts support that Xbox is making an antitrust movement or move here by purchasing Activision?
I believe I haven't heard a fact since we started. So shoulder shrug.
All
Can
right.
I do that? Everyone else is shoulder shrugging in the courtroom. Can I do it outside the courtroom? I shoulder shrug.
I
We're
mean,
fighting to
Lee
fight. We
himself
don't know what
doesn't
we're
know.
fighting for, but we fighting.
Oh my God. Next, 73. Cross examination of Robin Lee continues. Mike, why are we continuing? Why? Why are we doing this?
Like you
Why?
said just a moment ago, Loke. Microsoft said we ain't done. we finna tear the tires off your car. We taking the
Oh,
doors off. We taking the trunk out. We taking your spare tire. We taking the brakes out. This car is undesirable in every way possible.
Damn.
That's how they leaving your
Damn.
boy Robin Lee out there. This man. This man went to the courtroom in his J's. He came in with the New York, the jersey, the shorts. He's ready to play ball, bro. And he left and got home in a white t-shirt, drawers, and socks. This man is getting taken apart. Continue, Lo.
Oh my god. Anyway, seriously, if you're a PlayStation stan, just go and play Final Fantasy Racist. Just stop, stop watching this stream. Stop going to Twitter. Just go and platinum Final Fantasy Racist right now. Just go and do it. Right? There's nothing positive here for you. 74. Microsoft lawyer Beth Wilkinson got Lee to confirm that Sony can, of course, respond in various ways to the transaction, and that one possibility is for Sony to reach an agreement with Microsoft that guarantees COD will stay on PlayStation. Lee acknowledges he did not consider Microsoft's offer to Sony in his analysis. Jim didn't consider it either, but let's keep it moving. Microsoft lawyer now asking him about agreements with other parties that already exist. Microsoft lawyer brings up the fact that Final Fantasy 15 was on Xbox and PlayStation, but Final Fantasy 16 is not. The context is that what Sony can do in response to the acquisition of ABK includes agreements with third-party publishers to withdraw titles from the Xbox. Lee continues to be extremely evasive. He doesn't even want to acknowledge that content exclusivity goes both ways and that Sony may benefit from the removal of a title from the Xbox. Let's go to the chat. I need to regain some of my IQ points. Let's go to the chat. Louis Frag, oh my days, what was this guy Lee smoking? I'm with you. Sally Francois is not looking good, Mr. Lee. Back from the dead. I'm in the wrong industry. I wish I could be as much of an idiot at my job as the FTC get paid. I also want to submit my CV. I would like to submit my CV to the FTC. I think I could get a job there. Silent Cypher says Lee's getting reassigned somewhere else. Lord Boogie says it's hard to stand on your square when there's no logic to back your stance. Rachie, I hope to get to play Final Fantasy Racist in 6 months on PCA, man. have a go at it, bro.
Yeah, live your life.
Louis says playing FF16 is not a good idea since the game keeps burning the console. I swear I was not reading the chat as I was reading the Twitter recap of the court case. I promise. This just happened. Something just tickled me and said, check the chat. Check the chat. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys for lifting my spirits.
I feel like the chat checked you.
No, Lee is pulling me all the way down. Seriously. Thank you for lifting my spirits, chat. Really appreciate you guys. Next. 78. An economist who has strong theory based on reliable data as opposed to selective data and or mere assumptions. Geez, even Florian Mueller's getting salty. Wouldn't answer questions the way Robin Lee does. He's just not the kind of economist on whose opinion a court can rely, much less in order to kill a merger. Now talking about a but for the world in which the transaction wouldn't happen, starting with COD and its current availability on PS, Xbox, PC, and Switch. Now talking about cloud, currently COD not on GeForce Now, not on Boosteroid in Lee's understanding. Lee says difficult to predict the exact form that foreclosure will take and the exact date. He says Activision content overall will likely be foreclosed in console market but doesn't want to really take a clear position on COD foreclosure. With the merger, Lee says it will not be on PlayStation with certainty. Likelihood is lower. Microsoft lawyer stresses comparison is not worthy is not whether it's more or less likely, but whether it's likely. Judge Corley now also got Lee to confirm that he does not say COD is likely to be removed from the PlayStation, just that it's more likely to happen after the merger than otherwise, and that he thinks there'll be some foreclosure of Activision content overall.
I'm
Lee
just
says,
pause real quick
go
before.
ahead,
I'm just
go ahead, go
laughing.
ahead.
I'm still laughing about what Louis Frag said, because right
What is
after
that?
it, Boogeyman says that's because it's fire, bruh.
Oh man. And then Rachie says, "Oh God, you guys are getting messy." He says Final Fantasy 16 will launch the PS5 into space.
Yeah, you guys thought you guys that jet engine on the PS4. Well, now you got a rocket ship.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. You know what? At least I'm smiling. At least you guys are giving me something to smile about because Lee is just not doing it, man. Lee says his report states some technical uncertainty as to the feasibility of making COD work on Switch. So he is aware of Microsoft Nintendo agreement, but says he's seen evidence that it is uncertain. Now he's a programmer. Lee is a developer, ladies and gentlemen. Economist, developer. That's what he is. Now Lee says,
He's a
okay,
balanced
it is
person.
likely that COD. Oh, okay. Later on, he admits it. Now Lee says, okay, it is likely that COD will be on Nintendo after the merger. Now confirms likely to be on Game Pass after merger and on GeForce Now and other cloud services that have deals with Microsoft. Now he's struggling with saying whether it's likely. He's been struggling the whole time, Florian. Let's be real, okay? Stop. Don't tell us he's struggling. We know he's struggling. All right. Just tell us what he's doing. Anyway, now he's struggling with saying whether it's likely that COD will be on GeForce Now on July 19th if the merger falls through. He tries to just call everything uncertain if he can avoid stating a likelihood. FTC asking him questions on redirect gives him an opportunity to explain why he looked at not only COD but all of Activision's content. All right, so this is now the FTC giving him all the softballs so he can just home run him like Barry Bonds. All right, here we go. Judge Coyley points out that there are many games and it's impossible to predict which future games will be popular, and says that by that standard, any acquisition of a game publisher would be anti competitive. Don't quite understand what you're saying, she says. Lord in heaven, she didn't even let them pitch it to him. He didn't even get a chance to home run this one. Jeez, Coyley. Wow. Let's go to the chat. Boogie. Oh, okay. Wait. Boogeyman. Boogeyman says that's the face melting greatness. LOL. Stanley Francois says, like Chris Tucker said in Rush Hour. Come on, Lee.
Damn! Oh, hell no. Hell no. We did not just do that.
Oh my god. Yo.
Yo,
Stanley.
that was too that's getting shared on Twitter. That
Oh
is
yeah.
getting shared on
We
Twitter.
clipping this one, bro. We are clipping this
He
one
said,
day
"Come on,
one.
Lee."
Oh. Oh no.
Ooh, that was cold.
Guys, what is this? The Def Jam comedy or something? Y'all need to settle down in the chat, okay? Y'all need to settle down.
Come on, Lee.
And I said it in his voice. Oh my god.
Ooh,
Oh,
that was good.
oh. Oh, Stanley
God
Francois, bro.
damn.
Just thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you, bro. Louis Frank says Mark Cerny is a genius for creating a George Foreman grill system that runs games in 7 minutes.
God
Guys,
damn.
guys, can we please focus?
You
Can
need
we?
to
Can
y'all
we?
need to relax in the chat.
Yeah.
How we only got 9 viewers, 14 likes, and we are crying on our own stream right now. Y'all share this out. Y'all share this out and let people know we out here doing this. Because this is ridiculous
Ah,
right now. We're having a blast, not only with this
oh,
conversation, this thread from Florian Mueller, but also
ah.
from the chat, man. The chat is they're out of this world.
Oh, okay.
It's great.
Okay. Let's. Oh God. Okay. Oh, now I get it. Now I get it. I get it. Boogeyman. Who else? Who else is spamming Boogeyman and Back from the Dead. Remember? I think it was Rush Hour 1. It was like when Chris Tucker is trying to explain. Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? That's
Right.
what they spamming in the chat. Y'all are messed up for this. All right, y'all are messed up. Focus, people. Focus. This is a serious
I knew
conversation.
exactly what he was talking about. That come on, Lee.
Come
That
on,
shit
Lee.
was killing me. That was
Yeah.
yeah.
Next thing they'll be quoting Rush Hour 3, crazy ass bitch. Anyway, whew. um, now Lee, we're at 89. Now Lee says AAA games don't come out that frequently, but he previously talked about all Activision content and not all Activision games are AAA games. Judge Corley asks Lee about his particular position on COD. Lee says there is some uncertainty in the future. He believes there will likely be foreclosure, but also unsure about whether it will be full foreclosure. Judge Corley states something she already said in the private lawsuit. This here is about COD. The FTC, however, tried to make it more general, bringing in all the ABK titles story in its complaint. Judge Corley now wants to know whether he focuses on COD with respect to the console theory, but when talking about cloud and subscription service, it's the catalog. Now Lee says Diablo can have an effect on console sales if removed from PlayStation. Not as large as COD though. Dude, she just said COD. Anyway, 94. Judge Corley asking him about vertical foreclosure theory and about playing on
Well,
PC
you
being
skipped
a
93.
substitute. I don't have 93 here. Okay, I got it. When the FTC asks him questions, he rarely gives credit direct. He
That's
rarely
not
gives
93.
direct answers. That's 93. It's 93, bro.
Go ahead and read it.
When the FTC asks him questions, he rarely gives direct answers to the questions asked. All they got him to confirm definitively now is that the partial foreclosure can be anti-competitive, not a big point to drive home. 94. Judge Corley asking him about vertical foreclosure theory and about playing on PC being a substitute for playing a console. That is a market definition question that ultimately also impacts the foreclosure analysis. Judge Corley now notes that even though a gaming PC is more expensive, it can also be used for more purposes than a $500 console. So they're now very much in the market definition discussion. Judge Corley asks, excuse me. Judge Corley asks if Xbox Series S has similar price as Switch. Lee says yes. That's the one with the lower price. In his market definition analysis, Lee apparently focused just on what the most likely alternative device would be that someone buys in a foreclosure situation. If the market definition was extended not only from high performance video game consoles to all consoles, but also gaming PCs, that would be the worst case scenario for the FTC in the console context. FTC now gives him a chance to justify why he used Generation 8 data in the share model, but Gen 9 in the foreclosure model. That is something Microsoft's counsel brought up. Judge Corley now notes that he needs to know he needs to know how reliable the underlying statistics are. Lee tries to downplay the importance of a study on how many people would switch by saying it's one of many pieces of evidence. There is no 101 foreclosure with respect to multi-game library subscription services. Lee says more likely to happen with than without the merger, but more likely than otherwise doesn't mean it is going to happen. There is no indication of FTC expert Lee having persuaded Judge Corley of anything. This is just weak stuff that a court can't rely upon when the question at hand is whether to allow or block a merger. FTC still on losing track, and very clearly so. Lee acknowledged lack of good data for nascent markets, but without good data, it's really hard to block a merger. 104. Judge Corley now
Hmm.
focuses on market definition again. FTC wanted to switch to another topic, but Judge Corley now focuses on market definition, specifically multi game library subscription services. You're playing the game the same way, just paying in a different way. There is quite a possibility of Judge Corley throwing out most of even all of the FTC's market definitions, meaning the FTC's complaint could fail to surmount even the first hurdle. I believe her decision would not stop there and also highlight other shortcomings. Lee agrees with Judge Corley that it would also depend on content where users could switch from multi-game subscription service if they had to. No convincing point made by Lee for such services being a market. This court found otherwise in Pistachio versus Apple. Now, talking about bundles of services like Game Pass Ultimate offering a content subscription but also streaming. PlayStation Plus in both of those markets because they offer both of those services, Lee says. In 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 distinguishing established from nascent markets, Lee just said in the console market we basically see three players. So even he instinctively doesn't refer to a high performance console market that would be a two-horse race. So even Lee, he broke character. He just broke character when he said that. Uh, it's true. It's true. He broke character. Lee says
Just
Lee
terrible.
says COD Lee says COD gamers spend more than others, and those who spend even more time a month on COD will spend even more. Okay, Captain Obvious. He says that because he assumes that COD foreclosure would be particularly profitable, more so than foreclosure with respect to most other games. Gamers would spend more on Xbox than average gamers spend. That's the point he's trying to make. Okay, I don't disagree with him on that one. Shifting sand positions all the time. Now he's trying to explain that even if his model makes foreclosure slightly unprofitable in a certain scenario, there are factors outside the model that will still make it worthwhile, such as shut the fuck up, reducing Sony's income. This guy can't pick a lane. He wants to win with every possible argument. He needs to chill the fuck out. Um, Reichi says, by now I won't be surprised if they use the what about the droid attack on the Wookiees card. Boogie says, of course he did, because he didn't do any research. Clearly, Lee did not under his assignment. He didn't understand his assignment. True. 112. Judge Corley asked whether he also considered reputational damage from the removal of COD from the PlayStation. Lee says he just couldn't find evidence for that. The truth is just that Judge Corley brought up a point he conveniently ignored in his analysis. Lee concedes the world is uncertain, both a scenario with and a scenario without the merger. So, in the end, all he says is whether something is more likely to happen in one scenario than the other. Lee says, as an economist, he focuses on economic incentives. FTC done with Lee redirect. Microsoft has no more questions for Lee. Thank Kojima. Lee has nothing to offer that the court could rely upon in a decision to grant the preliminary injunction. So the FTC still hasn't been able to show a good and strong reason for blocking the merger. 10-minute break, then the video testimony. Lee may be a nice guy. He was at least trying to come across as very nice here in the court. It's just that he has nothing to offer but assumptions and opinions. Underwhelming. Again, this is probably not the first time someone called Lee underwhelming. I'm just saying. Uh, Louis Frank says this dude needs a backhand. Come on, dude. He's having a rough day. All right.
Yeah, he's
having
just
a
doing
rough
what
day.
he what he could, and it just came up short. Just what it is.
I don't think it came up at all. But anyway, next 116 Nvidia, Mr. Eisler testifying now. Oh, okay. Okay, let's go with Mr. Eisler. They say their cloud gaming services are more powerful than consoles, compared local gaming to GeForce Now gaming. Eisler, NVIDIA has reduced latency from 200 ms to 100 ms to make it more enjoyable for gamers. Now have 30 data centers, so they're closer to gamers. They've attacked latency in several ways, he says. NVIDIA primarily worked through a contact at Blizzard. Says when COD titles were on GeForce Now, it was one of the more popular titles in his recollection. NVIDIA. COD popularity goes up and down, depends on where they are in their release cycle. NVIDIA says Microsoft asked NVIDIA to remove Bethesda titles from GeForce Now after acquiring ZeniMax. Microsoft now called Charles River Associates Dr. Elizabeth Bailey, one of the economic experts on this merger. The other is a Chicago professor. Okay, so now we see if the other economic expert is as
Yeah, which
clueless
number are you
as
on?
Mr. Lee. 123.
Oh shoot. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Key conclusions by Dr. Bailey. Call of Duty is not essential, critical, must have, or uniquely important. Damn. Coming out so winging. I didn't
Damn.
expect
Jeez
to read that.
Louise. He brought the
Right out the
bat to
bat.
court.
Right out the bat, dude. What?
He said,
Okay.
God ain't shit.
Michael. All right. Microsoft expert says the FTC expert did not look at impact on mobile market. Her estimate based on data is that Microsoft currently has 0.3% of the mobile gaming market. Will have 3.8 post acquisition. Okay. Um. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on that one. We are worried about 3.8%. Microsoft expert contradicts FTC expert on geographic part of market definition. Products and brands are the same worldwide, just the starting point. Various reasons suggest it's a worldwide market, not a US specific market. Thank you. Still discussing reasons for which the market is not US. Note that Microsoft doesn't have to prove it's worldwide. As soon as it's clear the market goes beyond North America, the FTC has lost the market definition part, and that would be dispositive. Okay, this is interesting. I didn't know this one. I didn't know that Microsoft had to prove that this was a global thing, and then FTC essentially would lose. Um, I'm stuck on 127. Do you have
Yeah.
anything after 127?
We're actually all completely caught up on that. So if anything else were to happen, you just kind of have to keep your ear to the railroad tracks on what Florian Mueller has
Follow
popping right now.
FOSSPATENTS on
Yep,
Twitter.
Foss Patents. Yep, he's the one
And
that's
this
been
guy,
he's been going
he
to
knows what's
town.
up.
He's been going to town as of lately for these different cases and whatnot. I can hear them currently talking right now, so this is not over. I can still hear it coming out
Yep.
of my phone, but but we've spent the last hour and a half in this specific topic, and we still are not convinced of FTC making a solid fight for anything.
Nope.
And I mean, sure, that might be because of the way maybe some of what Florian wrote, but I mean, he's just describing what's going on in the courtroom. I mean,
Essentially. And
he has
this is
some
not a
moments
console
where he
war.
kind of he has some moments where he gets off and says his opinion on things. But if you erase just the opinion stuff out of what he said, it still looks bad.
Yeah.
It still looks pretty damn rough. So I'm interested in to see where this is going to continue to go. I'm not sure if we're going to sit around here and wait because he's been
Nah,
stuck
man.
he's been stuck on 127 for the last like almost 10 minutes now, 7-8 minutes. And I'm not trying to keep you guys waiting for the next post or something like that when you can literally just go to Twitter yourself and see it. But it was very enjoyable for us to sit here and talk with you guys about it. It was hilarious.
Oh, it was fun.
The comments in the chat were absolutely on fire. You guys were freaking
Y'all are the real
insane.
MVPs.
For
You guys are the real
real,
MVPs.
no cap. You guys are crushing it down there. I'm repeatedly refreshing it to see if anything's popped, but I've yet to see anything yet. So, Loke, you got any final statements on the way out of here that you would like to say about this whole thing that we just did for the last hour and a half?
So celebrities with social media showed us that you don't have to be smart to be rich. Mr. Lee has shown us today you don't have to be smart to be an economic analyst.
Isn't that something?
And on that note, thank you guys for watching. There's some good stuff. I really appreciate everyone.
Shout
that
out
came
to
through.
Dallas Grimm
Y'all
in the chat. Just he must have recently just hit the subscribe button because I've never seen his name in there before. So I appreciate you for stopping through, Grimm. If you missed if you missed most of the show, about halfway into this show, we start talking about the whole Foss patents stuff. So if you're interested in this whole FTC stuff and our opinions on it,
if you want to have a laugh,
yeah, you'll definitely be laughing if you check it out. Not only from what we had to say, but a lot from what the chat had to say because they were messy. My favorite thing was probably what Stanley Francois said today about "Come on, Lee," like
we all said it in Chris Tucker's voice. We all said it. Oh man. Oh.
But my takes from this whole hour and a half, like I said, we did all this, got pretty much nothing out of it. What? Dallas Grimm said, "Yeah, I'm working at Infinity Ward while listening to this." So that's freaking insane. That's awesome. Not what I expected to hear, but that's dope. But
if
yeah,
you're not under any NDA, hit us up on Twitter, TSWS Gaming. We're open to chat, podcasting, general gaming stuff. It doesn't even have to be about Infinity Ward specifically. But if you're interested, holla at us. Anyway,
Yeah,
take us
absolutely.
out.
But yeah, this whole thing that's happening today, I feel like I have the same feelings about this whole situation as I had prior to the hearing today. I feel like nothing has been given for me to pause and be like, yo, this isn't going good for Microsoft. In fact, the longer this goes on, the worse this is looking for the FTC and anything Jim was frustrated about. Um, as a matter of fact, Dallas Grimm in the chat said, yes, I can. So maybe,
Ooh.
Loke, maybe.
All
We'll
right.
holler at you,
All
brother.
right.
If you have a
TSWS
Twitter,
gaming, bro.
if you have a
Yeah.
Twitter, Dallas, go on ahead and hit up TSWS Gaming and just
set something up.
yeah. We can set something up. Our DMs should be open. Loke, do you know?
Yeah. They open.
Yeah, the DMs are open, so we'd be more than happy to talk and see and talk to you a little bit about your background with that, and just have a general discussion about it. We're not trying to take any secretive information. We just really would like to see how somebody like you feels about this whole situation that's going on. You don't have to dig deep and be inappropriate and give up all this crazy information, although we're not telling you not. We're not telling you can't if you don't want to be. I mean, if you want to be messy, you can be messy. The floor is yours. But we're not going to force you into a corner where you feel like you have to say something that you don't think is appropriate to speak on. Shout out to Silent Cypher in the chat saying with a $2 super chat today was glorious. It was definitely embarrassing, in my opinion, for the FTC, for Lee. Lee was on that bench for entirely too long. And like I said, they broke that man down to the point where he had to crawl back to the damn chair, and bro had to find his chair looking around blindfolded and whatnot, like somebody please help me, I can't see. Like, it was just messy. And this seems like a really messy Tuesday, because as I hear the case going on in the background, I'm hearing some punches get thrown. And this is interesting. And I can see why Florian maybe hasn't said anything past his last statement, because this is wild what's currently happening there. But with that being said, you guys, we need to get up out of here, because there's been no new updates from Florian in the last now almost 15 minutes. So we're going to just kind of dip out on that note. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Make sure, like I said earlier, hit that like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. We do shows on our channel Tuesday through Friday and every other Monday as well, depending on if me and K-Mega are going to be on this channel or his channel. But for the most part, Tuesday through Friday, you'll always see something happening on this channel. Loke, anything else that you want to say real quick before I do the sign out?
Boogie says Lee owes someone some kneecaps. Let's go home, dude. Let's go.
All right. Well, with that being said, y'all, thank you so much for thank you for so much for coming through today. It's been a blessing. It's been awesome. We had a blast with you. We'll see you guys tomorrow for my personal show that I do on my lonely the solo show. Yeah, I probably won't be. I'll probably talk a little bit about this, but I'll have some more other stuff to be talking about and whatnot, because I'm pretty sure we'll all get our fill of this today and want to kind of move on by tomorrow. So thank you so much for everybody showing up. And we'll see you soon. And as your boy Ham Solo always tells you at the end of every show, make sure that you are keeping it gaming or keeping it moving. Peace out, y'all.